All right, all right, all right. ¿Cómo andamos? How we doing? How we doing? Yeah, late night stream, y'all. I can't even tell y'all. I've been struggling today. This morning, I've been struggling. I'm not gonna lie. Let me move this here. Uh, I've been struggling. I didn't start feeling well until literally just a bit ago. Just a bit ago. And man, it was a rough morning, afternoon. I'll tell you this. I had to eat oatmeal because my stomach was so upset. Um, but it was a fun night. Normally, I don't do that. I'm boring. I'm a hermit. I stay home. But it was a good time. Good time. A little bit of pool. Not great at pool, but it was enjoyable. Um, but yes, I though wanted to make sure that we had a stream today. Late night stream. We'll probably go to like 10:30 to 11 the latest. But I still want to wake up early enough to have time to stream before it gets hot. Before it gets hot. Um, man, I'm so dumb. Also, I had to head down to the DMV tomorrow morning because I just realized that my ID is expired, and I never, although I paid for it, never got my new ID. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that. They're probably charging me for it again. Yeah. So can't wait. All right, what are we doing today? I see you looking for lights, Twitch chat. We got Ace, we got War, being able to be here late. Awesome, awesome. Hope work goes quick. Eduardo, where's it? Gio and Ace. Nice to see y'all. Yeah, nice to see y'all. And it's about to be 9, 15 minutes till 9, and I'm drinking cold brew. What could possibly go wrong? Although, let me see here, because can y'all hear this? Let me know if you can hear this. Hold on, hold on. Let me. Did y'all hear that? I don't think you could. And then I gotta be able to okay. Let me see if I can do this on the fly. How would I guess I would just add something like that, but do I want to do that? Maybe like a file, media source, I guess. Uh let's see. Let's go with that, and then we'll go. No. Yeah, well, it's not gonna be that. Hold on. Discard. I guess media source would be the best because not an image, obviously. Let's go with media source, and then we'll try it. And let's browse recents. They're just audios, downloads. Oh, it won't let me. That's interesting. That is interesting. Huh. All right. That's unfortunate. Video capture, browse color, image. Oh well. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Although I was excited to. Hey, why would it do that? What the heck? Let's see if it does it. Hold on, hold on. No, it doesn't. What the fuck? That's unfortunate. I don't even know how I would adjust it. Oh well. I guess as an alert. Let's see here. Damn. That is unfortunate. I never even thought of this aspect of it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, y'all. My apologies. I'm just realizing it's so late and I'm over here lagging. Audio input capture. Maybe that. I doubt it. Okay. Yep. No. Remove. Yes. All right. Last attempt. Last attempt. Let's see your browser color, departure device, image. Not the audio capture, media source. Nope. Damn. Well, I guess is it window capture? All right, let's move on. My apologies. I thought I had the alerts ready to go, and I don't. Application at audio capture control center. Google Chrome. Oh yeah. Okay. I think we got it. I think we got it. Hold on. I think we got it. Oh, I'm excited. Let's see here.
We're talking about Iraq. I got fucking calls from military personnel whose lives were destroyed during that time.
Yeah, we got it. All right. We figured it out. How about this one?
The American reincarnation of Frantz Fanon.
Don't forget. It was worth it. Thank you all for putting up with me being old and trying to figure it all out. Lo hicimos. We did it. Woo! We got them. Here's my thing. Should I cut off that Sam Cedar bit? Because there's a bit of a lag here. Let me see. Can I even... I want to make it louder, though. Advanced audio property. I want it even louder. Or maybe that's loud enough. I don't know. All right, so tell me, should I cut it off? Or let the whole thing play?
We're talking about Iraq. I got fucking calls from military personnel whose lives were destroyed during that time.
I don't know. I like making fun of the fact that he's like censoring US veterans in all this. You just gotta love it. So I don't want to just leave it at I'm talking about Iraq, but I do think it's funnier. And it's more out of context, which makes the drop funny. But yes, we're leveling up. Thank you for all the support and patience throughout the channel's growth. I think it's a little bright. All right, let's get a little serious. Si se pudo. There we go. Yeah, we need a couple. Yeah, I need Hassan's I Hate the Left. Oh man, that makes me so fucking just laugh so fucking hard. All right, here we go. He's a true patriot. That's right. Sam Cedar's a true patriot. We admire him. We look up to him and hope to be like him someday. And all right, in a serious note, tomorrow we will be covering the reporting that just came out on Cesar Chavez. Again, a little bit more serious. Sorry for the quick turn, but I do want to say that off the top. Tomorrow we'll be spending most of the stream talking about that. I'm going to stop everything that I'm working on in terms of video editing and focus to get that video out on Monday, and let's see how that goes. Because it's going to be a tricky situation to, I've been meaning, and I've talked about doing a video on Cesar Chavez. There is this fine line that I'm going to have to walk in terms of making sure that we center the victims, a lot who are, I still have to read the reporting, but aside from Dolores and her revelation that she had 2 secret children by Cesar Chavez through coercion and abuse and force. She's 96 years old, and that just came out. So we're going to be talking about that in more detail. But for the edited video, we have to talk about his anti-immigration and dehumanization of undocumented workers, how he really is a symbol for American nationalism. And all that should build towards demonstrating that, of course, his dehumanization up front of non-Americans, of course, that is a smaller signal, as impactful as it is, of a greater danger of dehumanization, right? And so when we combat xenophobia, it is one layer of a greater potential and almost certainly a greater threat that we have to acknowledge. So again, the video is going to be a little tricky because I don't want to make it seem like I'm using these revelations of the victims, especially because from what I've been seeing, and again, we'll go over the actual article tomorrow, that apparently they're going to name one of the streets where one of the victims was Cesar Chavez, the street. Like, we need another one of those. So it's going to be tricky, and up front, I'll say that I may not be successful in what I'm trying to achieve, but I gotta do this. I mean, he's somebody that I wanted to do a video on for a long time to begin with, to dispel that myth even further. But now it seems like it's absolutely necessary to, I mean, hey, have a brown face out here saying these individuals are dangerous, and there's signs like the xenophobia, the hiding behind religion, this whole great man of history and glorifying leadership. These are all signs of a potential risk of something greater, more nefarious, that we need to be really conscious of and wary. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. I'll work on the video this week and try dropping it on Monday. So just a heads up for that. The Grand Planner video, honestly, I was rewatching it. I have 30 minutes down. Like, I have a solid 30 minutes. Like, it is 30 minutes ready to go, but the video's not finished. It just isn't. So again, I don't know if I want to redo some of those 30 minutes with the new background and new setup, just to keep some kind of like consistency, or if I should just kind of hold off on it and just wait till we get closer to the race, because I mean, literally Sam Cedar is defending this week. There's so much consistent, and I mentioned this when I first started working on the video. It's like, man, it's so far out. It's so far out that look, literally, right here, 5 hours ago, Democratic establishment ugly attack on planner backfires. Ugly attack. I don't even know. I haven't seen it. I started it and I'm like, I can't watch this, man. I'm so irritated. So again, I understand the jokes and just being like, yo, like, when is this gonna come out? There's so much content out there, and I don't want to remake a video on Grand Planner, like a post, like a eulogy of his campaign, or if he does succeed. And remember, just like Mamdani, just like Kat, I want these new opportunists to win. I do. the same way that, here's why. It's not necessarily because I believe in them or because I'm in opposition to any of the crumbs that they might get for the working class, but because, and it might seem pointless, but it's like, get in office and show us that we were right to criticize you and that you weren't trustworthy to begin with, just so that we could show not the liberal commentator class, right? Like the Sam Cedars, the Ryan Grims, who unfortunately we're gonna have to watch a video of his boring, stale ass. But for their followers, the people that believe and trust in their political analysis and insight, to be like, look, they're not even covering Mamdani's man, that's something else that we got to cover tomorrow. Mamdani opposes decolonization so much, to such a fucking degree, he's such a commodore, that he was unwilling to call for a liberated, unified Ireland. It is so fucking pathetic. But again, these political commentators condition their audience to accept this. And you saw Hassan Piker was in Ireland. And again, LARPing, right? LARPing. So you get conditioned, his audience get conditions to accept this kind of watered down analysis and positions, right? And positions. So we'll go over that tomorrow. That'll be fun to watch. But of course, the Majority Report isn't covering any of that, right? If you go Mamdani, Majority Report, look at this. All positive. Zoran Mamdani has done the impossible. Wow. While nurses are being arrested under his administration. It's just all positive, all positive, all positive. Because of course they want him back on. They want him back on. Just like AOC, all positive review. All right. So we're gonna go backwards. I really don't cover. Your comments aren't showing up. Yeah, no, I mean, they're up here. You know, a lot of people from Mexico don't like Mexican descent born in the United States. Yeah, they don't like us. They call us pochos. No, thick air. I've literally called in and debated the whole fucking crew. Emma Vigeland accused me of being anti-Semitic because whenever you criticize Zionists, the first thing that they try to hide behind is accusing you of being anti-Semitic. And of course, her being a liberal Zionist who believes that the Zionist entity has a right to exist because it does exist, immediately went to that because, you know, she's a rich white woman that grew up thinking that she was the smartest person in the room and wasn't ready for any pushback from her left. To his credit, though, Sam Cedar shot that down, the anti-Semitic accusation that she made against me in that conversation. But overall, Sam Cedar refusing to call himself an anti-Zionist, I think says a whole lot. Yo, Gio, you called it, bro. Shout out to Gio. Gio called it. You know, join the Discord, because Gio had been on it for a minute saying like, Cat's not gonna win. And to be honest, Gio, like, I wasn't gonna debate you about it because you're there. You know, you get the vibe. You're home. You know, but I was kind of like, man, I don't know. I think she might win. I think she might win because, you know, she's young. She's a white woman, sure. She's Palestinian, but has the look, right? And I thought maybe she could pull it off, especially with her media training. Or not media training per se, but just her experience with media, kind of groomed for a moment like this. And so I was like, I think she might be able to pull it off. I think she might be able to pull it off. Gio, take your victory lap, homie. Take your victory lap. Very well deserved. And, you know, so I was like, man, I don't know. I wonder if Gio's right, you know? And Gio was correct. Shout out to Gio. Yeah, he's underground reporter in Illinois. Oh, Mike from PA is a total opportunist. He got into the political scene trying to avenge his mother's loss. So he ran as a Democrat just to try and win. And he ended up lying. He claimed that he was a lawyer when he hadn't even passed the bar yet. And I don't think he ever has passed the bar. So, yeah, he's an opportunist through and through. Let's start off with this, though. This is, man, so pathetic, so pathetic. All right, let's go. And let's turn that back on. And let's watch this nonsense over here. Oh, no. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, shit. Fuck. So I accidentally ended the stream. I don't know why it didn't give me that warning. Hold on. We're still up over here. Yeah, just dramatic car. I mean, honestly, just head over to Deculturation Live anyways. I'm not gonna restart the stream on the main channel. Just come over here to Deculturation Live and we'll be fine. It'll work out. We're still up over here, right? Yeah. All right. So it's still on Twitch and it's still on the second channel. It's late. My apologies. It is what it is. Let me actually find the... Let me switch. On. Let me pop the chat out. Yeah, it's just OBS. I mean, I shouldn't have clicked that, but OBS just being man, that's so annoying. It is what it is. It was gonna end up over here anyways. Press play again. Yeah, we're gonna start. Yeah, we're just gonna gonna watch this over here. Jesus, man. Try to just shrink this and get out of the way. All right, let's watch it.
F4 here. AIPAC spent at least $22 million in 4 Illinois congressional races that were very closely watched, because there was only one race in which they spent openly and acknowledged that they were spending in the race. The other 3, they funneled through kind of made up super PACs, one called Affordable Chicago Now, another one called Elect Chicago Women. When those got outed as AIPAC super PACs, they created a new one called Progressive Fund or something like that they started funneling money through. So let's go through these 4 races. Let's start with the one that everybody cares about the most, even though arguably it wasn't the most important one when it comes to the kind of gradients of ideological difference between the candidates. That's District 9, which was Laura Fine, who was the AIPAC candidate. We knew it. It was clear, even though they were using kind of fake super PACs. Kat Abughazaleh and Daniel Biss, who was like Evanston mayor. And then you had Bushra Amiwala, who was a local elected official who was running kind of to Kat and Daniel's left. And people kept pushing to kind of drop out and endorse Kat. That was probably never going to happen. So Daniel Biss won and won.
So, I mean, you gotta love this. You gotta love this in the sense that immediately we're seeing the top 3 here, and Ryan Grimm cannot help himself. And start attacking a candidate to the left of Kat Abughazaleh. Because that's what Ryan Grimm is here to do. Ryan Grimm is here to maintain the boundaries, to sustain the Overton window. And yes, we saw some online harassment to try and like pressure. Let's see here, her to drop out. And we see it. This is a man, when I tell you don't trust white leftists. Just this individual here, Blakely. Jesus, can you not think of a wider name? Seen them around online a lot. Very, very, very popular on TikTok, I believe. Even has a big following over here on Twitter. This is an opportunist through and through. I mean, they interviewed Mamdani, and I don't think they asked a single difficult question to Mamdani. And then as soon as she's back online, or they're back online, then they start barking it up again. Right? She got called out for her anti-blackness. I can't remember what specifically. Ace, come on. You know we're all about receipts here. We can't just make these broad claims without having at least some semblance of the context. I'm assuming it's spelled Blake Lay? I don't know. I feel like it's like the Key and Peele skit. I wouldn't even know how to start saying this name. But this is an opportunist through and through. This is somebody who should be treated with a lot of suspicion, to say the least. But I would not want them anywhere near me. This is almost every video that I see of theirs. Even when they're on point, there's like one or two things where I'm just kind of like, you didn't have to add all that, or that seemed a little unnecessary, but okay. But most of the time, they're gonna take pretty safe, left, the left of the Democratic Party type of positions. So just keep that in mind. Let me check something real quick before let's just listen to this.
Bushra Amiwala is a progressive candidate that is running for the Illinois 9 seat, which primary day is this Tuesday. And I need her to drop out and endorse Kat Abughazaleh. Now, hear me out. First,
I need her to drop out. This is like, you notice little things like this. These are red flags to like somebody who's a narcissist. I need her to drop out. Not, hey, the left movement, or the left within the Democratic Party, not the populist movement, not the Democratic Socialist movement. No. I need her to drop out. It's little things like that that may seem like I'm nitpicking. But again, if you watch enough of their videos, you start realizing this person is a narcissist. And look, for me to grab a mic, to have cameras on, to, there's a level of attention seeking and narcissism required for all this. I can admit that for sure. No doubt, no question there, right? But there's levels to this. And this Blakely is, I think, one of the worst ones. Now, you could call me a sexist and machista and be like, well, because she's a white woman, Carlos, you're extra suspicious. Sure. But again, why would you word it as in, I need her to drop out? Man. Cinnabums, I could kind of see this behavior for a bigger race, but what made this one so high stakes? I'm out of the loop. What made this so high stakes is so it's kind of weird to say Mamdani versus Kat Abughazaleh, because Mamdani represents physically, right? He's a brown man. His name, Zoran Mamdani, all these things kind of represented almost a perfect bastardization of identity politics and a aesthetic victory. But the actual result was going to be the defanging and further watering down of the Palestinian movement, right? Of the pro-Palestinian movement. And he's doing that to a great success. We know with Tish, we've been over this. We get into details, denouncing his own wife. Oh, we also got to listen to that video. Okay, we got a lot to do tomorrow. A lot to do tomorrow. I need to write this shit down. Anywho, more Mamdani content tomorrow for sure. What Cat Abughazaleh, let me make sure I'm saying their name right. Oh, wow, I was way off. Abughazaleh. Damn, even then, my apologies. I was trying to remember it off the top of my head or pronounce it at the top of my head, and I butchered it even worse. What Cat represents is a true Palestinian comprador, true Palestinian sellout. Now, they don't have the physical characteristics that would benefit a comprador, but the reason why I thought that Gio might have been wrong, which she was correct, all credit and love and appreciation for his on-the-ground reporting, that her whiteness, right, even her dyeing her hair blonde, was gonna be safe or appealing enough to general voters to be like, oh, well, she might be Palestinian, but her name's Cat, or she goes by Cat, and she's visually white. So maybe I thought that was going to be the angle, right, towards let's see here, towards that that victory. Hold on, let me see something. Just want to make sure we're still live. 59. You know what? I think I could do this. Let's just do this because I just realized hold on, give me 1 second, chat. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me switch because I realized I didn't switch the browser to the sorry, the stream dropping down kind of ruined some stuff here, or just made it awkward. Yes, bro. All right, cool. Let me just update this here. All right, that should be good. I think that should be good. All right, hopefully that worked. Ba-da-ba-ba. I just don't know whether or not the alerts are gonna work on this for the super chats and super stickers. That's I'm like, should I just go back to the other channel? But I don't want to make y'all jump up, and get down. To go back and forth. One more time. You are too patient with me, and I appreciate that. Okay, let's finish this amazing video here.
First, I will say what I always say, which is nobody is entitled to this seat. You are running to be a representative of the people in your district. You are not owed that, right? So I'm not saying that she should drop out because I think that Kat is owed the seat. No. In fact, some of Bushra's policies I like better. I hated Kat Abughazaleh's answer on Ukraine and Taiwan. Yikes. And if we were months and months and months away and there was still time for her to up this polling, we might be having a different conversation.
See, this is why I believe that these people are so disingenuous. Cinnabons, I just realized I might have not answered your question. The reason why I think that it was such a big deal and the reason you see this influx of political commentators like this individual, Emma Vigeland, Sam Cedar, Hassan Piker, is because they're pushing the next wave of compradors. I think that's why it's such a big deal. Graham Plattner is that wave, that new wave of compradors, even though he's significantly older than Kat. We're going to see Kat again. And in some form, shape, or another, we're going to see Kat again. So I think that's why it was such a big deal for the political commentator class is, hey, we need a new comprador. And, you know, these individuals can't help themselves. They love that shit. They truly, truly do. Here. One sec, because hold on. Damn, bro, that's so annoying. We'll do that. I just don't know if it's going to disrupt everything else. Fuck, I think it will. It's fine. It's fine. But notice how they mentioned, oh, this would have been months and months ago. If this would have been months and months ago, here's my question. Do you think Blakely over here was like supporting and showing any support towards Bushra months and months ago? Do you think Blakely, in fact, let's find out. Because it's Bushra, right? 1A. Okay, Bushra. Let's find out. Would you look at that? Would you? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Blakely, why weren't you supporting Bushra months and months ago? Since you agreed with her positions. It's almost like the perfect pause over here. Why? Why wouldn't you just support her months and months ago and then say, hey, you know what, as a former supporter, you're not likely to win. Let's support somebody to your right. Essentially, that's what you're saying. Let's support Kat, who's to your right. At least then, I would say, well, you have an argument. You have a, not even an argument, a leg to stand on. You have a leg to stand on. You were a supporter. You push for Bushra. There's no path to victory. Let's move to the right because that's what you're advocating for and support Kat. We try to build something, a movement around Bushra. It didn't work out. Let's be, practical and support Kat and move to the right. Let's allow Kat to pull us to the right, in other words, right? That's what she's advocating for here. So you're talking about, oh, well, if this was months and months ago. Well, apparently you didn't talk about Bushra until you were told or you felt inclined to call her to drop out in support of somebody to her right. How does that make any sense?
To be a representative of the people in your district, you are not owed that, right? So I'm not saying that she should drop out because I think that Kat is owed the seat. No. In fact, some of Bushra's policies I like better. I hated Kat Abughazaleh's answer on Ukraine and Taiwan. Yikes. And if we were months and months and months away and there was still time for her to up this polling, we might be having a different conversation, but we're not months away. The primary is this coming Tuesday. This is Kat right here. She's polling way higher. And you know who's polling first? This radical Zionist. AIPAC knows this, and that is why they are running ads on behalf of Bushra as if they support her. Obviously they don't.
Notice she called Bliss a radical Zionist. Again, she called Daniel Bliss a radical Zionist.
Here, she's polling way higher. And you know who's polling first? This radical Zionist.
We're going to get back to this video. I just want to show you this. I love this fucking game, bro. Oh, no. She's not a Comprador. No, she's Palestinian. Oh, she's taking every chance she can get to smear Hamas. She's using the same tired Zionist lines of, oh, the Palestinian people need a democratic election because Hamas has refused. Blah, 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 blah. All the same Zionist propaganda. All the fucking Zionist propaganda. But according to you, Daniel Bliss is what, a radical Zionist? So what the hell does that make this situation for a Palestinian woman representing Palestinians like no one else, cozying up to a radical Zionist? I mean, come on. This shit is pathetic. That's who you were calling people to support. You were asking people to be moved to the right.
Polling way higher. And you know who's polling first? This radical Zionist. AIPAC knows this, and that is why they are running ads on behalf of Bushra as if they support her. Obviously they don't, but they're conniving snakes, and they will use fake PACs and Women for Chicago or whatever the fuck PACs they hide behind, and now they're running ads on behalf of this progressive candidate to try to take votes away from Kat and help the Zionists in the race. Politics is dirty and slimy as fuck, and again, if there were more time, I think that she could be a great candidate, but the facts of the matter are that she does not have a path to victory right now.
Oh my God. If there was more time, again, the only time that she's ever spoken about Bushra, March 14th. Where are we at in this video? We're 1 minute 22. All right, let's try this. Oh, wow. So she's aware of Kat having right-wing positions. Let's see here. Chaos Rhyme. Jesus fucking Christ. Kat believes in self-determination for Palestinians, Ukraine, and Taiwan. She's right. And this is such a stupid scandal. Blakely. Laugh my ass off that people in Kat Abughazaleh's comments are mad that I asked her about her comment on Taiwan, Ukraine, Iran. Going all the way to March 2nd. Okay, but Kat Abughazaleh just came out with a pretty yikes statement on foreign policy when it came to both Ukraine and Taiwan. So what are you doing? And again, this is how these people operate. They provide criticism, sometimes accurate criticism, but refuse to, at the end of the day, refuse to challenge the people that they might need to cozy up to. She might be able to secure an interview with Kat Abughazaleh like she did with Zohran Mamdani, right? So keep that shit in mind. It's an aspect of why these people move this way. man, at no point throughout these multiple tweets did she show any support for Bushra. That is astonishing. And it makes sense because then when it's time to stop pretending to be critical, you turn around and call for Bushra again. That's to the left of Kat to drop out. These are fucking smooth operators.
Conniving snakes, and they will use fake PACs and women for Chicago or whatever the fuck PACs they hide behind, and now they're running ads on behalf of this progressive candidate to try to take votes away from Kat and help the Zionists in the race. Politics is dirty and slimy as fuck, and again, if there were more time, I think that she could be a great candidate, but the facts of the matter are that she does not have a path to victory right now, and the primary is in a few days. If we want to beat this AIPAC shill, Dan Biss, who was the one that couldn't even make up his mind in that like panel where they were all holding up the signs on their answers and he was like flip-flopping like a fucking fish out of water. Remember? It was a yes or no panel and there were multiple times where he did that shit. Yeah, that's what Congress needs. Another spineless flip-flopper Democrat that waits for the donors to tell them what to think. If we want to beat him.
Again, how are you calling, I mean, Bliss, call him whatever you want. I don't care. But how are you not biting your tongue when you're saying, oh, this guy's just going to flip-flop? That's exactly what Kat did the moment pressure was applied to her, right? And suddenly she was illiterate. Suddenly she's a grown woman with a child's brain, according to Hassan Piker. According to Hassan Piker, online political lefty commentators were going to be able to pressure her more than fucking lobbying groups. Could you believe that? He was going to be able to pressure her and mold her into a radical more than the fucking Democratic Party. Once she won. Yeah. How do they not bite their tongues with the hypocritical hypocrisy, the bullshit that they fucking spew? And they depend on you not paying attention to what they're actually saying and just going with the vibes, bro. This would have been a hippie back in the day, and now it's just like kind of this weird gutter rat. Or was it fucking gutter punk shit over here, man?
The best thing for the other progressive or left-leaning candidates in the race that don't have a path to victory could do would be to drop out and endorse Kat. That way, she has a chance to beat this guy since we already know they're not going to win. And the reason why this is really getting to me is because we've seen this movie many times. Not only did this happen to Bernie Sanders in the last election, you'll remember that they all consolidated around Joe Biden and dropped out in order to blunt Bernie because Bernie was winning. And Elizabeth Warren could have, at the last minute, really helped Bernie by dropping out and endorsing him, trying to blunt back some of the blow that Bernie had taken by all those people dropping out in the most sinister way to coalesce around Joe Biden because they wanted to stop Bernie. But she didn't, like a snake, and so he lost. And listen, I maintain for all those people that love to go, well, if Kamala were president right now, well, if Biden were still, if Bernie had won, actually, we wouldn't be in this position. Because as much as I don't even fuck with Bernie anymore, and he's like a fucking Zionist that still always tries to blame Netanyahu for everything Israel is doing, no one can argue that he would be exponentially better on every fucking issue than any of the other clowns that we have in politics. So
oh, I hate Bernie Sanders because he's a Zionist. But he would have been so much bro, Bernie Sanders has normalized National Socialism. Bernie Sanders was on with Tim Dillon praising Donald Trump's. Yeah, Ace, I'm so sorry, man. We don't got the. That's my bad. It's my bad. I mess up. We don't have the fucking the alerts. My apologies. Tell you what, you get one of these.
We're talking about Iraq. I got fucking calls from military personnel whose lives were destroyed during that time.
Thank you for the super chat, Ace. First person to super chat on the Quotation Live. But these people, man, like it will. It's astonishing how the normalization of Bernie Sanders, white supremacy, and Zionism operate. We'll give you the Bad Empanada one. Access Audio, thank you for the super chat.
The American reincarnation of Franz Fanon.
Don't forget, and don't you forget it. But again, like, bro, if you're truly anti-Zionist, you're not downplaying the threat that Bernie Sanders poses in the normalization of the Zionist entity. And they even acknowledge it, saying like, oh, he's always blaming Benjamin Netanyahu instead of the Zionist entity at large and its objectives. That is more dangerous. It is more insidious. We've been told time and time again the pitfalls of liberalism. We've been told time and time again by Malcolm X referring to these people as the sly fox. What rad libs like this individual here, Blakely, want, and they've sometimes even asked for it outright, like, lie to me. They want to feel like they're moving the Democratic Party to the left purely in aesthetics. They only want to be catered to as a product being sold. They want the advertisement to get better, but the policies, they really don't fucking care. They really don't care, because if they did, they'd be like, hey, now I know, because most of us did not, unfortunately, know that Bernie Sanders was a lifelong Zionist and allegedly, you know, former lover of Golda Meir. That's what the streets are saying. Most of us did not know that when he ran the first or second time. We know that now. So why are you still hyping him up? What need is there to hype him up right now in this video? Did you need to, like, just, I don't know, this TikTok or wherever you're putting these videos out on, for you to cash in, for you to be able to profit off of this, because you got a check mark even on Twitter, for you to profit off of this, do you need to hit a certain amount of like time to really get like the revenue up? Is that why you're talking about Bernie out of nowhere? Ace, I returned with the receipts on her. DM'd you, no spoilers, but it's in relation to our favorite socialist mayor. Ace, thank you so much, man. Let me pull this up right now. Access Audio, has she seen Bernie on immigration? Right, so Bernie was on Tim Dillon's show before white people started getting got in the streets. Bernie was praising what Donald Trump was doing, because he's a white supremacist. Of course he is. No. Access Audio. Bad Banana called me. The reincarnation, the American reincarnation of Plan Fanon. Hey, who am I to argue with the voice of Latin America himself? I'll give you one more. Access Audio.
The American reincarnation of Franz Fanon.
Ba, 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 ba. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Let me share this and let me pull this up. No, I don't want to sign in.
Because most of the comments were rightfully telling me that I was wrong. I'm referring to the video that I made about the New York Times saying that Zohran Mamdani claims to be African American, or checked that when he was filling out college applications, which in the video I defended and said that he is African American because he is from Uganda. A lot of the comments calling me out on the video said loud and wrong, and yes, correct. I am very loud, and this case was very wrong. That's why I want to address this comment and say people saying the more they attack him, the more that we like him. I think it's important to acknowledge that while I like him, and I do like him, and while I do still think that the New York Times is garbage and that a lot of people are unfairly smearing him, in this case, that's not the case. Because he did fill that out in his application, because he said that it didn't allow for the nuances and the complexities, and he shouldn't have done that, so I shouldn't have been defending it. And I defended it because I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. And really, that's the only thing I can do, is tell you guys the truth and say that I was wrong, because I didn't know. And my honest reaction and why I didn't make a video about it right away was, I was wrong. No one cares about my excuses to why I was wrong, so I'm just gonna take the L and let people dunk on me. I did not know
pobrecita.
that being African American was a unique identity to Americans. That like if you're from Africa, you can't just like say I'm African American if you come to America. I literally
they're so
genuinely
stupid.
did not know that.
So
And it's
stupid.
insanely embarrassing that I didn't. I watched some of the stitches starting with CJ's because I think I saw his first because I follow him. And my honest reaction was like,
Shout out
I'm not
CJ.
arguing with it. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. You guys are absolutely right. I'm embarrassed that I didn't already know that. Like, I'm an American. I've been around black people my whole life. How did I not
black
know
friends.
that? But I genuinely did not know that. And so I'm sorry for saying that because it was wrong and it was ignorant. And whether I meant it to come across that way or not, it was anti-black. I was coming at it from the point of view of thinking this was just a typical hack New York Times hit piece where they were getting their sources from a white supremacist. Someone asked why the video was still up. I left it up because I didn't want to make it seem like I was trying to run away from it. One of my mutuals, shout out to Zem. Zem is amazing and I really appreciate them calling me in. Reached out to me and mentioned a video that I did watch to understand why it was what I said was wrong and how it's actually like anti-black because it's erasing the unique experience of black Americans. And I'm not dismissing it. I left it up, like I said, because I felt like, oh, wow, I really fucked up. That's embarrassing. And everybody has a right to stitch the video and drag it. I will leave it up if people think I should leave it up for criticism's sake. If you guys want me to take it down, I'm speaking specifically only to black people right now. I will take it down. I am sorry for that video. It was harmful. It was ignorant. It was anti-black and it's spreading misinformation. Something that I don't want to do. And that made me sad. I do not want to be hurting people. I do not want to be spreading misinformation. I do not want to be anti-black. And I'm not so delusional that I think that I'm above being anti-black. I am a white person in America. It is impossible and it would be a lie to say that I'm not going to and or have not done things that were anti-black. But if that happens, and when that happens, if I do something that is anti-black, I do want to be corrected. And I do want to say that I'm sorry and I want to learn from it and I want to do better. I do not want to be dismissive or callous in how these kinds of things harm black people or how it harms black people when anti-blackness is ignored within movements. I was also looking up things on ChatGPT and Google because I also didn't want to be...
I'm done. No, we're not doing that. I use ChatGPT to tell me how anti-black I am. It's so fucking pathetic. Access audio. Look, I'm not giving myself that title. Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. My bad. That's hilarious. No, I didn't give myself that title. The King of Latin America himself gave me the title. I don't know, and I'm gonna hit you with another one.
The American reincarnation of Franz Fanon.
I didn't give myself that title. Ace, you do keep the receipts. Ace says, I keep my anti-black receipts. Thank you for super chat. I'm not as good as you, but I try to keep my receipts. Had to step up to your challenge, laugh my ass off. I think she deleted the video too. Well, that's because she listens to black people that tell her that she's anti-black and to delete it. I'll give you this one. For all the anti-black white leftists, here we go.
We're talking about Iraq. I got fucking calls from military personnel whose lives were destroyed during that time.
No, actually, I have not read it yet, but it's definitely a book that I've had. You know, it's interesting though because I was listening to a great conversation with Mumia, and he was, you know, addressing. He was talking about Fanon. And where he was when he wrote that book. I guess it was more of a like a dissertation or something along that. I got to re-listen to it. But he was saying like, oh yeah, no, you can see the transformation from that book to The Wretched of the Earth. I'm sorry, y'all, it's late. My apologies. You could see, you know, Black Skin, White Mask to Wretched of the Earth. He talks about like almost being two completely different people. So, and I'm going to end up using an audio from that conversation for when I'm working on the intro to the edited videos. I just have to mess around with the audio stuff a little bit and hopefully don't get flagged, because the beat that I want, very popular, and I'm worried, even though it's gonna be 10 seconds of it, I'm worried that it might get flagged for copyright, so I might have to mess around with the audio a little bit. But yeah. Ace is calling for the Hassan Black drop. Okay, yeah. Listen, just like me and my bestie, Blakely, you know, we both listen to black people when they tell. So, you know, I must I must have that drop. Oh man. So far, how we doing? Damn, Ace, thank you so much for that receipt. I did not know that. I mean, this is a reason why, like, I hesitated for so long to start streaming or just get on one of these platforms, is because I recognize how much work I need to do, right? I gotta work on giving myself credit and making sure that I encourage others to, you know, talk about themselves and in a positive way. And somebody called me out on a comment, and I appreciate that criticism, and I'll work on being kinder to myself when I stream, in order to encourage everyone else to do the same. Está difícil, and we don't need to make it harder on ourselves with self-negative talk. I was wrong, and I'm grateful for that criticism. And sometimes I forget that, like, yeah, like the energy that I'm putting out here may influence others to have that same energy with themselves, and I'm not with that. And I need to be a little bit kinder to myself on stream, so that hopefully you're kinder to yourself and where you're at. So shout out to that person who left a comment. What am I saying? Oh, so I hesitated for a long time because I knew my shortcomings. But then I got frustrated. I was like, damn, these white people and these liberal Zionists, I need to speak out. But understand that Blakely is one of the most popular political commentators on social media, TikTok, Twitter, you name it. And this is why we need to stop listening to white people. This is why we need to stop listening to white people. To come out and full-throatedly defend Zohran Mamdani, claiming to be African American. Oh, because, you know, things are so complicated. My identity, you know, it's like one of these Mexican Americans with their fucking poetry, you know. I think there's also the, you know, the cliche of biracial individuals always harping on the same spoken word poetry bullshit. It's exhausting. But man, like, why are we still listening to white people? Why are they still allowed to speak? I don't understand it. Like, if you're a leftist and you're white, like, why? What do you need? Why do you need more? Why do you need more attention to tell people to move to the right? Because that's what she's doing here. This is what they're doing here.
Next time you want to complain about, but what about Kamala and what about Biden and you should have voted. No. Shut the fuck up and think about how you should have voted for Bernie Sanders in 2020 and or in 2016, and we might not be here. That's one example. And then we have the example of the New York City mayoral race. I remember in 2021, the progressives were beclowning themselves 10 ways to Sunday and couldn't get their shit together. And that's why Eric Adams won, because we have ranked choice voting. And I think that was the first race we had ranked choice voting in that year. And because none of the progressives would get their shit together and drop out and endorse one person or coalesce around one person, he won. Why don't we not do that? Moral victories are not enough here, fam. We need power. I am tired of not having fucking power. We need seats. We need power. I am asking you, Bushra Amiwala, to drop out and endorse Kat Abughazaleh, because you can have a great future in politics. I'm not saying she's not a good politician. Like I said earlier, I like some of her positions even more than I like the position of Kat's, and she probably has a great future in politics. But
I mean, the amount of times that this individual says I is astonishing. This is like a narcissist through and through. And now knowing this about the whole like defending Zora Mamdani's anti-blackness, which again gets, even I don't talk about it enough. It makes perfect sense why she would come out. And the first time that she has anything to say about Bushra, who is a visibly brown woman, she's saying like drop out for Cat is wild, man. Yeah, there's a lot of like she is, or they are, Blakely is very, very comfortable with whiteness and aligning with whiteness. That's oh my Ace, pretend African. Zohar Mamdani, the pretend African. Yeah. I like that. I'll keep that in mind, Ace. I'm tired of not having power. Yeah, man. Like it's just sad. It's just pathetic to think that Cat, a comprador, is gonna like give you the power that you're craving, that you're aching for, and that this is how you're gonna achieve political power. Yeah, it is. Man. I don't know how delusional these people are. I don't understand it. Like it doesn't really compute. I don't know. Like I've never seen like a politician in the Democratic Party winning and saying like, yeah, we're gonna have more power. That is, I don't know. It makes me realize that people, because I was never really a fan of team sports. Like I tried watching soccer, I tried playing it, don't care for it. Football, basketball, I just don't care about team sports. And it's not until recently that you see this with mixed martial arts, specifically with the UFC. Specifically, UFC fans will say like, we won, or we got this, in reference it to fighters. And I'm like, like what? I was like, what are the perks of watching mixed martial arts or combat sports is to be like, yeah, we avoid this weird parasocial thing of saying we, like homie things were on the team. In fact, more often than not, the team aspect of it gets diminished unless you're, putting the blame on somebody. Oh, the coach is the team, the cornerman, this and that. And now with the popularity of mixed martial arts growing, specifically the UFC, you see more of these idiot fans come around. But this is what this Blakely individual is like, literally, that is their political mindset. Like if it's a fucking team sport, like we got this. We're gonna have more power when Cat, the comprador wins. And as funny as this is, again, I do want the Mamdanis, the Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez, I do want the Cats to win. The downside of them winning, well, the upside is, hey, look, maybe they get a little bit more crumbs and they sell out, they betray the cause that they claim to represent and fight for. And we could point it out to these rad libs like Blakely and be like, hey, look, you were wrong again. The problem is that Blakely and these political rad lib commentators win either way. In the sense that, just as we saw, all the tweets relating to Cat were critical, but when it matters, when it fucking matters, these individuals move to the right. They don't move anyone to the left. They get moved to the right. And they'll still get credit for the criticism that they have of Cat when they're in political office. Apparently not currently. It's not going to happen. They still get credit anyways. They still profit and enrich themselves with, this fake criticism and outrage on these social media platforms that are paying them. Man. Really, Cat ain't even a resident of the district in Illinois. Is that true? I'd heard the criticism that she's a carpetbagger, but I didn't pay much attention to it. I think Gio said that they're like that they're neighbors. No, I'm kidding. And Gio was like, no, I let her crash on my couch. It's all good. The Toa, Cat was a strong local candidate. Unfortunately, her local constituency is anti-vet. Um, let's let this video wrap up. We're already taking way too long on this. My apologies.
But this specific race is not it. And sometimes you have to think about those things beforehand, which is exactly what I did. I was genuinely and seriously considering running for the open seat when my Congresswoman Nydia
I don't watch a lot of their stuff. I fucking can't stand. I hate them so much, bro. Listen to my political advice because I thought of running once. Oh man, this is. I mean, if we're sticking to the sports analogy as a Monday morning quarterbacking to its finest. Oh yeah, I could have gone pro, but you know my shoulder. My rotator cuff. But you know, coach said I had a lot of potential and I could have done it. But you know, we had the kid young and I had to get to work. Again, a narcissist. Only a narcissist would brag about something they didn't do. Something they did not do. What is wrong with these people? Martin, ¿cómo andamos? Yeah, late night stream. Mira, la cruda. It's not really me, but la cruda en la mañana estaba difícil. And I didn't have any pozole or menudo to help me out. But here we are. Wanted to make sure we got a stream going. I generally do appreciate all the support that y'all give, and you know, I view these streams, well, yeah, not gonna lie, a little bit of an obligation. But one that I'm more than happy, as long as I'm not dying in the inside, to live up to. So thank y'all, you know, who support the Patreon. Thank you all for the super chats and super stickers. Those members as well, who I need to start, you know, really bringing into the fold. Again, my apologies. Especially I need to lock that down because some things are about to get busy. Some things are about to get busy with the union work that I'm doing. You know, y'all know that I really don't like talking about it too much or make it seem like I'm this great union organizer. But there's definitely something. There's gonna be some interesting streams coming up in a bit that I think it's gonna be exciting if I can find some time to stream when things line up. I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit out. It's a little bit out of the way. We still got some time before I start scratching my head and figure out how I'm gonna stream those days. But I think it's gonna be fun, y'all. I think it's gonna be fun. Really excited for it. Anywho, thank y'all for the support. Truly appreciate it. And now it's we got the second channel monetized, so I appreciate the support. I really do. It's super encouraging and it makes me want to work harder and make better content. Like I said, we got the drops going, so slowly but surely we're getting there.
The American reincarnation of Franz Fanon.
Eduardo, are you appearing as a guest in anything anytime soon? No. No. I do need to start having more guests on. I need to do that, I think. But I first need to get my schedule more consistent, my streaming schedule. Like, look, it's 9, it's about to be 10 p.m. Like, what are we what are we doing here? Gabby, nice to see you late. Just got off work. Hey man, time to kick off the boots and get some rest. Oh well, welcome, Egg. Oh, Gio, Gio, we were talking about how you admitted in the Discord that that Cat wasn't a carpetbagger because you were letting her crash on your couch. All right. Let's get to this. Are they done? There's no way there's another minute of this left. How? How do you? How, bro? Another minute? Wow. Wow.
Velasquez retired. And even when I found out, full disclosure, before she even announced that Claire Valdez was going to run, I honestly thought, I might still run. I don't know how I feel about her, whatever. But then when she announced her campaign and I saw that she had the full support of DSA, the support of Zohra Mamdani, the support of the unions, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to run, because what would that do? I hold a lot of the same positions that she does.
Wait. In her mind, she's like, I'm not gonna run because I would pull so many votes. What is, bro? I'm just realizing that I am not delusional enough. What? My confidence, I mean, let me tell you, I can be very, very, very overly confident, right? Wow. Dude, I need to start doing like mantras and affirmations in the morning to get to this level. I think the whole be as confident as a mediocre white man. Be as confident as a mediocre white person, bro. What are we doing gendering it? Let's not give white women the out, because this is so fucking ridiculous. Guys, I was gonna run, but then I realized that because of all my political experience and just sway, I just would have taken way too many votes. I would have caused such chaos in the political field that I just couldn't do it. I didn't have it in me. I would have been essentially a wrecker. Well, I'm gonna start saying this now. Guys, I was gonna run for president, but I just realized I was gonna pull too many votes. I was just gonna, it was gonna be my fault, really. And again, understand that they're saying all this to paint Bushra in a negative light, of painting Bushra as somehow being a villain. And remember, this is what white liberals do, rat lips do, is they start off the video by saying, oh, Kat isn't owed any of the votes that Bushra may take. But then the entire 5 minute and 30 seconds of this video that we're still not over with somehow is like basically vilifying her, comparing her to like Bernie, or associating her with Bernie Sanders getting screwed over, a Zionist, right? Oh man. It is, yeah, man. We need to give white women their credit, their due. We need to respect them. We cannot be machistas. We need to include them. Be as confident as a mediocre white person.
There are some differences, and I think my personality is certainly a lot more aggressive, which I know.
I'm a badass. As a badass, it just tells you how's it is. The working class is going to associate with that. So, just be advised. I may not be your cup of tea, but that's because I tell the truth.
Would help in some instances, but also turn some people off. Some people can't handle all of this.
Oh, what did I just say? What did I just say, bro? Oh man, what the fuck did I just say? What did I tell you? The self-aggrandizement of it all is just so astonishing. Oh man. Damn, bro. People just can't handle me, man. I'm just too fucking honest. I'm just too fucking real for some people, bro. And I'm not for everyone. If you're too sensitive, you can't handle the truth, then do me a favor. Just don't even follow me. Just don't even subscribe. Just This is some high school fucking edgelord shit. Like, what are we doing here? Some people just can't handle how anti-black I am. Too bad.
The point is that I was like, this is not going to help. If there were a ton of people in the race, that would be different. But right now, it's shaping up to only be her and the more centrist progressive candidate. So if I were to jump into the race, I would do nothing but split the left vote. And I knew if I were going to do something like that, I would need the support of some of those grassroots organizations. So then why would I do that? You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about these things.
Well, think about the fact that the DSA did not endorse Kat. Think of the fact that Kat was in the DSA and she did not get endorsed by them. Maybe because they read her fucking platform. Maybe because they've been around her and realized that like she has the stench of a comprador. Man, that is okay. That's fine. You're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, my personality is a lot more aggressive. Wow. Like the lack of awareness that she can perform aggression as virtue signaling when you know that Black, Indigenous, and people of color can't get away with that. You know? Man. Are they done yet?
Which is why I decided not to. Please, Bushra, drop out and endorse Kat and run for something else. We will support you for the something else.
No, you won't. You did not support her for this. The only time you've spoken about her is to tell her to drop off and endorse a person to her right. Look, I don't know Bushra, right? I don't know their platform. I'm not going to pretend. Unlike you, I'm not going to pretend. I don't know them. I don't know their positions in their platform. But apparently, according to everybody, she's been to the left of Kat on almost every issue that they didn't agree on. You're lying by saying, we're going to support you no matter what you do. Chase your dreams, girl. Just not this time. You didn't support her for this. Why are we supposed to believe that you're going to support her for whatever other, political venture she goes on next? Why lie, bro? These people are so fucking full of this shit, man. It's the caucasity. Man.
Else, I mean, not this.
Not this. Fuck, man. It was so fucking pathetic. Where were we, by the way? Where were we? Shit, man. That's as far as we made it.
Won by about 4,500 votes.
4 points. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I think the left should take away from all of these races is that there should be a deep stigma.
What is it, Ryan Grimm? Please tell the left. Please educate the left. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The left should take away from all of these races is that there should be a deep stigma on candidates who cannot win and refuse to drop out. And I'm not just talking about Bushra, I'm talking about across the board. There was a failure to consolidate. And when you combine a failure to consolidate behind a single candidate with millions of dollars in spending for the other candidate, it's very difficult to win. And you let then AIPAC candidates, win with like 30% of the vote.
Fine only got 20%, which is pretty interesting.
So Fine just 20% with millions spent on her behalf.
I can't. I just have to pause for a moment.
I don't care what this reactionary thinks. I gotta be specific. To which one? Specifically, Ryan Grimm, right? His advice, and again, this is the reason why I pull up Blakely's video, because Blakely is calling for this sack exit. I mean, they're doing the same thing. They're trying to smear and put a stigma, negative stigma, on damn, I literally just blanked out on their name. Let me pull it up. Bushra. My apologies. Again, not here pretending to know her position, is not pretending. No, that's not. It's Illinois. What do I got to do with that, right? Should I have been better educated on it? Absolutely, absolutely, but I'm just not. They're trying to smear and calling for Bushra to stigmatize them. In other words, an individual to the left of the candidate that you're advocating for, you want to smear them. And you see how they start protecting that Overton window? You see how they start protecting what is applauded and what is allowed, what is celebrated, what is endorsed, what is supported, right? Instead of being critical of Kat and saying, hey, maybe you should have been further to the left so that whoever voted for Bushra would vote for you. They're saying, hey, Bushra, there's no chance, drop out, support someone to your right. Move to the right. Move to the right is what they're doing. That's what they're calling for. That is their strategy. And the thing is, it's hilarious because you realize that these people don't really care about a long-term project that is moving to the left. They don't. Because if you're already starting to compromise from the onset to the point that you're smearing, that you're willing to smear and stigmatize, Ryan Grimm is literally calling for the how would you say that? Stigmatization? To stigmatize candidates that are on the left. There's going to take time for these candidates to gain support. One, you're running within the Democratic Party. It's already a losing battle. It's already pointless. But two, the general populace, the masses, have been conditioned and socialized to be reactionary. So that's one of the reasons where I'm like, hey, like we can't knock reading groups because of the literacy rate, but also like the fact that we had to essentially like radicalize so many people to the reality of the world. And that's going to take time to build. That's going to take a long time. So there's going to be a lot of losses. But these people are so obsessed with aligning themselves with power that they don't care about that shit, right? They're kind of like, no, we can compromise with reactionaries and compradors because that's what Cat is. And we could pretend that they're somehow too stupid, too illiterate, too young and too naive to know what their own foreign policy positions are. And that's why we should vote for them. And stigmatize anyone that dares challenge, their pursuit of power. And Gio, thank you for the super chat. We'll hit you with
We're talking about Iraq. I got fucking calls from military personnel whose lives were destroyed during that time.
What's sad is Kat actually lost because she didn't even live in the district. People here can smell BS from miles away. How was she even able to run? And please, chat, please recognize that Gio never denied that Kat was crashing in his couch. I'm going back through the chat. Gio has never officially denied the alleged accusations that Kat Gio, I'm just giving you a hard time because you were correct. You were right. I can't knock you. You're absolutely correct. So I got to find a way to to roast you a little bit. But thank you for the super chat, Gio. And yes, all jokes aside, Gio was right on the money. And John William 13, Carlos, I just found you on here. Welcome to Twitch Left. yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't really do Twitch. I don't prioritize Twitch like that. But I do want to at least have some presence so that people can actually hear criticism of these the white left. Gio says, sir, no paste demons are allowed in my house. He says, no invitation is offered. They cannot pass. They cannot enter. We'll do this one, Gio, just for you.
The American reincarnation of Franz Fanon.
Because Fanon, as much as we love and appreciate him, did not have that rule. Thank you for clarifying, Gio. Thank you for clarifying. All right, so I just wanted to focus on that aspect with Ryan Grimm telling us that we should, smear and stigmatize, political opposition to the center right of the Democratic Party. All right, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Again, it's one big club, and you're not invited. And you're not invited. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, wait. No. There was something that I did want to look up in that. In that video. Let's see here. Real quick. Oh, what the heck?
Millions.
I think they mentioned something with Bliss. Hold on. But or did I miss it?
Yeah. And also, and I kept telling y'all this. Now you can believe me. Bushra finished 6th. So like people were like, no, she has a shot. She has a shot. No.
Nobody was saying that, bro. Nobody was saying that. I'm so glad I remember that this part was so fucking hilarious. Nobody was saying that Bushra had a shot. I did not see anyone saying, "Oh, Bushra, stay in it, girl. You might be a dark horse. You might be able to fucking pull up the upset." Nobody was calling for that because it was statistically impossible. I mean, the polling would have been so outrageously, wrong that and nobody was saying that. What people were saying is like, well, Bush was to the left of Kat. We need to start. I don't want to say we, but there needs to be left candidates that are out there campaigning and demonstrating to the voters, I'm going to be out here. I'm going to fight all the way to the end. What these people want is Bernie Sanders. That's what they want. And I think that's what Blakely, what really bothered me was like, oh, Bernie Sanders got cheated out the first time. The second time is just politics. Everyone coalesced around Biden. What did Bernie do? Oh, my good friend Joe. Bernie, do you think you're the only one that can defeat Donald Trump? No. I think Joe Biden can do it too. The fuck, bro? Then step aside. And that's essentially what Bernie did in real time. It became, his whole campaign was what? Not me, but us. And it became not me, not us, but Joe Biden, my good friend Joe. Nobody allegedly was happy about Bernie being spineless and just bending over backwards for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. We don't want that in our politicians, right? And yet Ryan Grimm and Blakely are calling for Bushra to do exactly that. Nah, homie, you got to stick it out to the end. If you believe that you're a better politician, that your positions are better than whoever's fucking winning, whoever's ahead of you, you need to stand on that position. And honestly, like Bushra, all credit to you. I appreciate you not falling for the, this reactionary right wing in the context of the Democratic Party push to get you to drop out. And was Bushra endorsed by the DSA? Because I was listening to like a 2-day-old Majority Report stream, because they're fucking streamers, and Emma Vigeland was pushing back about Bushra being DSA endorsed. I think Bushra was recommended by DSA is what Emma Vigeland was saying, but not endorsed. What's her name? What's this? Spell endorsement. Hold on. No, just some DSA members here, but not the actual DSA. Okay, just a recommendation. All right, so that was at least accurate. Honored to earn the recommendation of West Suburban Illinois DSA, it reflects our commitment to using the democratic process to uplift working class people and the undeserved, challenge corporate greed, and ensure everyone can live a full and dignified life. So my question there would be, was Kat endorsed by the DSA? Or even, recommended? Because we know she wasn't. We know that she was not endorsed by the DSA. But even a recommendation would at least put them on an even playing field. No. Justice Democrats, who gives a fuck, bro? Where did this notion that Kat Abughazaleh is affiliated with the Chicago DSA come from? I think it's more vibes and policy than actual organizational affiliation. I made Kat volunteer first time being active on the campaign, but I met her and believe in her message, and through time, I truly believe in her. I'm nearing for what the fuck does it have anything to do with? Okay. My understanding is that the DSA has a very strict criteria for endorsement, so it amounts to basically not endorsing. So right now you have DSA members spread across at least 3 competing campaigns that all have a similar target demographic. Cry harder. Anywho, she did say she was a card-carrying member of the DSA on a stream. Of course, she says all this nonsense, but I'm sure she was. Nonetheless, if it's true that they are endorsing Bushra, they're going to be partly at fault for the liberal centrist win. This is too good. This is too fucking good. All right. Let's go back to this. Kat got no major Illinois endorsement, even from unions. Gio? Huh. So no. Bushra was not endorsed. She was recommended, right? Really? So Kat was not endorsed and failed to appear at DSA events and ticked many in the org off. Wow. Interesting how that doesn't really get talked about or mentioned, huh? Interesting how we suddenly don't hold politicians accountable when they fuck up like that. Bliss got the unions. Look, I'm telling y'all, it is such an uphill battle because the unions are... I've literally been in these fucking conversations now. I've been in the room when this is happening. It really is, because the endorsement usually comes with a lot of financial backing, and that's money, from your members. Practicality is the number one thing in the room. I would say second to or 1A would be to your voting record, right? But practicality is like, hey, are we actually going to use members' hard-earned money and, their dues for something that is going to be practical, that we could turn back and say, hey, this is how we use our money, without getting the accusation of like, hey, you're just wasting our money, right? We're still going to get that. We get that all the time. Man, of, what do we pay you for? What do this? I'm like, first of all, you don't pay me, homie. This is a volunteer position. Thank you very much. I do this because me gusta la mala vida. But in terms of endorsements and unions, that is difficult. That is a difficult thing to change. And unfortunately, a political party, an actual left party, like whether, socialist or communist, will have to start getting victories and enough of them, and enough on the ground support from working class people before they can secure union endorsement. At least that's the way I'm seeing it. Again, being in these rooms, I try my best. I really do. But it's not, and it's just really unfortunate that because of how defanged and de-radicalized unions have become, because of democratic socialists or self-proclaimed democratic socialists, just rad libs, because of them, and their glorification of like FDR, it's difficult to expect unions to be leading this leftward movement. It's just not, it's not reality. And I'm telling you, having been in these rooms. Now, the individual members themselves are, for the most part, what I've seen, to the left of the Democratic Party. But again, you're not dealing with your own money. You're not dealing with your own ideology and positions. You're there to speak for the union and the members. And you're not playing with fucking house money. You're not playing with monopoly money. You're playing with people's hard-earned cash. Right? And I don't even like to say playing, but you're trying to use it to the best of your ability. And unfortunately, practicality rules in those rooms. And that's what I'm saying. We're going to have to get a lot of W's, a lot of dubs, a lot of fucking victories, and a lot of support from the masses before we're going to see major unions support actual socialist, communist, left candidates. Before it was quite the opposite, right? Not anymore, unfortunately. Gio, right? Why isn't that the conversation, right? Cat would have probably won if Bliss didn't run. Boy, why aren't we focusing on that? Also, part of the district in Chicago, and Cat did not get the Chicago Teachers Union endorsement or recommendation. Damn, how do you fail at getting at that? Wow. That is, man, like, why isn't this the conversation? Gio, why is this not the conversation being had? Because then you're actually being critical of Kat and her campaign. But it's a whole lot easier to blame a brown woman for daring to stay in the race. Yeah, let's focus on her fucking, what, 2-3%? All right, again, let's our sage, our leftist sage, our political sage, and Ryan Grimm.
6th. Telling y'all this, even though there was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and also, and I kept telling y'all this. Now you can believe me. Bushra finished 6th. So like people were like, no, she has a shot. She has a shot. No. So AIPAC put money behind Bushra Amiwala's campaign, trying to peel votes away from Kat and from BIS to try to boost Laura Fine. She finished behind multiple candidates that you've never even heard of. She got a total of 6,000 votes, 5%. Every single one of her votes would have had to go to Kat.
What the fuck? Why? Why? What makes you think that a single person that saw Kat, her platform, and saw Bushra and still voted for Bushra, knowing that Kat had a more likely chance of winning? I mean, because if you're voting for Bushra, you're probably the most educated voter going into those voting booths, right? At least for that campaign or that race. What makes you think that any one of them would have voted for Kat when they already had that fucking option? What makes you think that they wouldn't have just not voted since nobody was representing them? That is such a ridiculous fucking thing to say. I mean, literally, in that case, they would have voted for Kat. Man.
Single one of her votes would have had to go to Kat in order for Kat to win. And
Right.
there's just no world in which 100% of...
I jumped the gun. My bad. He's saying every single one of them would have to have voted for Kat, and there's no guarantee that would have happened. I didn't watch this. My bad.
in order for Kat to win. And
Right.
there's just no world in which 100% of votes go from one candidate to another.
Yeah, a lot of them are protest votes anyway.
Yeah, and a lot of her supporters did not like Kat. It's, her support was concentrated among South Asian population, which also had problems with Kat for other kind of optical reasons.
Optical reasons. Get into it, homie. Because understand, whether it's Hassan Piker, Mike from PA, Ryan Grimm, Blakely, all these individuals were playing up the identity politics. They were excusing her horrific foreign policy platform. She's Palestinian with her identity. But she's Palestinian. Yeah, we have a name for that. They're called compradors. She's Palestinian, so she can smear Hamas all she wants.
So Biss, who had the support of J Street and had millions spent against him by AIPAC, or hundreds of thousands at least. I don't know if it...
You know what I just realized? I never switched the chat on stream, so it's been frozen the entire time. My bad, y'all. But I don't think y'all realize that either. Ta-da! I think the first time that deculturation deculturation live chat has been on stream. There we go. My bad. My apologies there. Oh, we did? Oh, y'all. I just didn't see it. My bad. Now we're real boys. I don't know why that Crimes. I don't know why that just reminded me of the penguins from Madagascar. That is wave and smile, boys. Wave and smile. Which, by the way, I mean, I was too old to even anyway, I was told to be watching it myself. But the Madagascar cartoon series with the penguins, pretty fucking good, man. Pretty fucking good. All right.
Climbed millions against, but millions in total spent by AIPAC to try to win this race. So Biss ends up winning. Biss had kind of a Elizabeth Warren Democrat. He had Elizabeth Warren's endorsement like on day one of the campaign. And this is kind of an Elizabeth Warren district.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I didn't know that she endorsed him. That's interesting. Again, why is Bushra getting more heat than Elizabeth Warren? Makes no sense. Did AOC come out and endorse Kat? I know that Ilhan Omar came out and endorsed Kat, and as well as what's her name? I'm trying not to look at chat because I'm trying to remember her name because she became so fucking irrelevant. Y'all know. Rashida Tlaib, thank you so much. The FTP. Hey. The penguins are sick ass fools. Literally, they are. Yeah, Rashida Tlaib came out and endorsed Kat. Ilhan Omar endorsed Kat. I guess AOC did not. Again, why isn't the focus on that? Did Bernie Sanders come out and endorse Kat? Why not? Well, she's Palestinian, so that's probably why. Well, again, that's supremacist. All right, let's wrap this shit up. I've been saying that, I know.
It's kind of suburban district. So ended up So he ends up winning. He'll win the general. It's not even close. In his victory speech last night, he mentions J Street and AIPAC. Let's roll that.
Let me end this simply by saying AIPAC found out the hard way. The 9th district is not for sale.
A liberal Zionist, or according to Blakely, a hardcore Zionist. I don't care, right? Zionist, but to be clear, liberal Zionist normalization led by Hassan Piker, Sam Cedar, who is a liberal Zionist himself, but led by Hassan Piker. Liberal Zionist normalization. One of their key things now, and we've seen this with, what's her name, like Jennifer Welch? AIPAC trucker. AIPAC trucker. Anyway, I was gonna try and find like a Israeli accent with a trucker lingo. Anywho, AIPAC tracker is being used to censor AIPAC as the main villain, the same way that Bernie Sanders and all these liberal Zionists use Benjamin Netanyahu. Right? I don't give a fuck if it's AIPAC, J Street. They're Zionist organizations, and we need to focus on challenging and vilifying, stigmatizing not leftist candidates, but Zionism itself.
So enough about AIPAC. May tonight be the last time I utter their name. This victory belongs to J Street. And they've been defending J Street to fought tooth and nail against unspeakable odds for that point of view that represents the mainstream in this district and the mainstream of the Jewish community.
Yeah!
So
this victory belongs to J Street. It's hilarious how, the whole thing of America and their opulence or something along that line, instead of having one capitalist party, they have two. Same fucking deal with J Street and AIPAC. They're both Zionist, lobbying groups. And they're like they're trying to trick us into supporting one over the other instead of opposing both. Amazing.
So the question now, Emily, for the left will be, I think, around organizing BIS and putting pressure on BIS. There is an argument that, and this unfolded in the Malinowski district in New Jersey 11, where Ana Lilia Mejia ended up winning thanks to AIPAC, smashing Malinowski.
Right.
So Malinowski was a former, had been an elected Democrat before. He had worked at the State Department. He had a lot of credibility among Democrats in the House when it came to foreign policy. Mm-hmm. And so what AIPAC said publicly was that even though Malinowski was much milder in his criticism of Israel, his mild criticism was more of a threat to them than Mejia's strong criticism, because they think they can marginalize Mejia and say, well, you don't need to listen to her, she's crazy squad radical. But Malinowski is harder for them to marginalize. And so that was but either Cope or the rationale for why they were actually okay that their preferred candidate lost and they accidentally boosted this squad-like candidate. Now, I think they miscalculated. I think Ana Lilia is going to have a lot more power in the House than they expected, but that was their rationale. That was the same rationale they used to spend millions to defeat Andy Levin in Michigan. Levin was a synagogue president and part of the Levin family dynasty, member of Congress. He was redistricted into a race with Haley Stevens, and AIPAC spent millions to back Stevens over Levin, because they publicly made this argument that it was dangerous to have a guy who called himself a liberal Zionist, who was a synagogue.
Ryan Grimm out here trying to be like, no, we liberal Zionist candidates are actually a greater threat to AIPAC. By embracing liberal Zionism, we threaten and challenge Zionism. Oh, fuck. Do you all see why I hate Peter Beinart? Do you all see why I hate Sam Cedar? Marianne Williamson included. because liberal Zionism is being, Ryan Grimm is doing this in real time, positioned as challenging Zionism. Liberal Zionism is being positioned as a challenge to Zionism, when liberal Zionism is simply a liberal approach to the Zionist project, meaning their strategy is, hey, let's embrace liberalism, multiculturalism, all this fucking bullshit that Emma Vigeland was, advocating for, and that will secure the Zionist project. And the Zionists, the rabid Zionists, are like, nope, we want to be like front and center white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, rabid Zionists. And Golda Meir, again, allegedly Bernie Sanders' lover, was fighting against this, was fighting against that, right? Was saying like, no. We need to speak as little as possible and do as much as we can. Julius Nyerere, America's also a one-party state, but in its extravagance has two of them. Thank you. That's what it was. All right. So let's support liberal Zionism to defeat Zionism. Only Zionism can beat Zionism, so that Zionism wins.
With Haley Stevens, and AIPAC spent millions to back Stevens over Levin, because they publicly made this argument that it was dangerous to have a guy who called himself a liberal Zionist, who was a synagogue president, who was criticizing Israel, who was casting votes against Israel, and was supporting Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar when they were being called anti-Semitic. He would show up with them and say, they are not. They are my friends. They have legitimate criticisms of Israel, and you cannot weaponize anti-Semitism against them just because you disagree with them politically. And the fact that he was a synagogue president made that punch from him land much harder. And so they said, we need to get him out of office. Yeah. And they got him out of office. And a similar thing is unfolding with Biss. Biss's mom was Israeli. He's got lots of connections to Israel. He has the support of J Street, which calls itself liberal Zionist. And so to have Biss out there attacking AIPAC and criticizing Israel and supporting Block the Bombs, which doesn't go far enough, but it is considered to be existential to Israel and AIPAC, the Block the Bombs Act. They feel like Biss is a significant threat to them.
You can see how that would make sense.
Yeah, and so for them, they're now doing this cope like, we beat Kat and we beat Bushra. Bushra 6, get out of here. You spent money to support her.
You're got 21% of the vote.
Yeah, and collectively, Biss and Abughazaleh got well over a majority, and their candidate got 20%. Yeah. So they got washed. So now, what people have to do is organize around Biss. Yeah. I saw somebody saying yesterday that the kind of anti-Zionist movement needs to have more space for these quote-unquote liberal Zionist critics of Israel, because
I heard people talking about embracing liberal Zionism. Anti-Zionists should embrace liberal Zionism. We need a big tent. The anti-Zionist movement needs a big tent that includes liberal Zionists. Do you see why I started streaming? Do you see why I couldn't fucking hold my tongue anymore? Do you see why I fucking debated the entire Majority Report crew? Because I knew this was going to happen. Because we've been warned about liberals time and time again. I knew this was going to happen. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now. In real fucking time. Anti-Zionists have to start working alongside and include liberal Zionists. And nobody's happier about this than fucking Sam Cedar. God damn. Imagine riding the fence while a genocide of Palestinians is occurring. Peter Beinart going to Tel Aviv University, ignoring BDS and all the Palestinians that he has taken advantage of, really, during a genocide. These people are sick, demented, soulless individuals that only care about, securing, the bag, really.
Their argument was, in the journey from full-on AIPAC level support of Israel to becoming anti-Zionist, it's actually a bigger leap to go from AIPAC hardcore right-wing Zionism to liberal Zionism. Like, that is a harder move to make and more dramatic than it is to go from liberal Zionism to anti-Zionism. Because once you're in the liberal Zionist space and you're starting to talk about apartheid and occupation and genocide, the rationale and the logic just pushes you to anti-Zionism. eventually. Like it's just a question of how long it takes you to move from there to there. So
Again, the issue is that these people have redefined anti-Zionism. That is the problem. Because if you go, what the fuck is this? APAC Zionism. Fucking nonsense. If you go from Zionist to liberal Zionist because you're critical of the apartheid state, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier for you to go from criticizing the apartheid state to then calling for decolonization of the Zionist entity completely. In fact, if you go from a standard Zionist to a liberal Zionist, that means that you know enough about the colonization of Palestine and you're still choosing to support the continued existence of the Zionist entity, but through a liberal multicultural approach. That's why liberal Zionists are so fucking dangerous, because they do know better, because they are informed, because they are in communication with Palestinian people. And they're still, despite all that, despite that knowledge, still choosing to support the continued existence of the Zionist entity, the colonization of Palestine. So for me, if you go from your average Zionist to a liberal Zionist, you're telling me that despite all the information that you've been made aware of, you're still going to hold the Zionist project above your allyship with Palestinians. And that is more dangerous, because then you don't have the shield of ignorance to hide behind. I started streaming because I saw Marianne Williamson in her book tour disguised as fucking a presidential campaign normalize and push Zionist talking points. The Vanguard not only refused to challenge her, but then started parroting Zionist propaganda about the kibbutz and about the founders of the Zionist project having good intentions. So they're white supremacists. One of them's dating. Man, I try not to do this, man. But one of them's dating a Filipina, so it makes perfect sense that they're white supremacists. Checks the fucking box, right? So we're seeing this normalization happen in real time. I've been calling it out because this is the way these fucking liberals move. The glorification of their fellow liberals is prioritized. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse because a lot of these liberal Zionists are going to get permission. Just how right now they have permission to criticize AIPAC, they're going to get permission to start calling for limiting the support that we give to the Zionist project, either through military aid or financial aid or just overall protection in the global scene. That's going to get normalized and that's going to become applauded. They're like, oh, see, they're actually getting things done. These radical Palestinians, they couldn't get things done, and their allies, their supporters, they couldn't get anything done. But liberal Zionists are actually getting victories. Once the Zionist entity has secured enough land and will start feigning, kind of listening to international rule and law, liberal Zionists are going to step up and claim those victories. Calling it now.
The argument would be the goal now of Cat supporters and Bushra supporters needs to be to pressure BIS to go further. And I think there's also opportunities to do that in the two other districts where AIPAC won. But let's do District 7 next, where AIPAC caught just a brutal L.
All right, finally, done with this, finally. I got I wanted to stop at 11:30 the latest, but I think we're having a good time, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit the like. Like I said, I'm working on growing this channel as well, Deculturation Live. I'll turn on memberships for it eventually. I just need to make sure that I'm editing enough of the live streams. I already did one. I just kind of need to work out the finer details. But yes, I'm definitely going to start editing and making these live streams shorter and more accessible to people. And hopefully that'll, grow the channel. But I appreciate all the support. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like. We got the first super chats going on over here, so I appreciate it. Join the Patreon if you want access to the Discord. $2 gets you into the door. I appreciate y'all. Let's keep this moving forward. I did want to initially I was gonna go over most of this conversation, but now that's kind of like not necessary. This 2 days ago before the election, but this was so fucking pathetic that I have to just laugh at this with y'all.
Thing because of anything except I didn't get enough votes, and that involved in the political process is good. It's a good.
There was a report from Ryan Grimm, right, about some positions that were on your Palestine page that might have seemed inconsistent with what you've expressed publicly, and what I've heard from you is a desire to support self-determination, which is a laudable
Yeah, so
goal.
basically here is like, as many of y'all know, we had an advisor who is no longer with the campaign that misrepresented some of my views. I also want to be clear because
Again, never a bit of accountability. And he has 100%. See, Hassan Piker, before he shocked his dog, that fool has the leash tied tight on Mike from PA. Hell, that fool put the leash on Bad Empanada, because Bad Empanada apparently was able to behave once they finally were talking on stream with Noah Sampson. I don't understand why these people cozy up to that motherfucker, but I mean, money, I guess, clout, I guess, I don't know. I'm good.
I know that this specific point is affecting him in his personal life. I've seen people try to describe him as some like pro Netanyahu, pro Israel maniac. And this is someone like many of our Jewish allies that has lost family, friends, community for standing up for Palestinian rights. No matter what anything else, I just really want to make that clear. But
Literally saying, oh no, this guy misrepresented me, but I want to make clear that he, even though he's Jewish and misrepresented me, he's a solid dude. Do you see why this excuse for her is utter fucking bullshit? Taking the time to say, oh, don't harass him. He's a good guy. A good person that misrepresented your positions on, I mean, the main driving force of your campaign, right? Again, identity politics is allowed when you're doing it on the behalf of the Democratic Party. Palestinian. She's Palestinian, guys. She's Palestinian. Don't believe her own fucking campaign page. He's such a good guy that should not be harassed, but lied about your positions. That's what we're expected to believe. Not that these were your positions, and we're hoping that nobody would call you out on it because of your identity. The same thing with Grant Plattner. Grant Plattner claims to be anti-war. They all say he's anti-war. Why is he concerned about addressing the recruitment crisis in the military if he's so anti-war? If you're anti-war, you should be applauding a recruitment crisis in the military. Martin, thank you for the super chat. Get to master for that crudo. Ese. Yeah, no, I did. I took two. I had to, man. And it wasn't that it was that bad. Is that I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to stream. But just this morning and afternoon, I couldn't even I was talking shit on the comment section and then on Twitter and stuff, but like I couldn't really focus. And I knew that I was just going to be like mumbling, stumbling on stream if I made that choice. So I just really waited till it felt better. But you know, I don't really drink. I don't really party like that, to be honest with y'all. That's just not really my thing. But if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna have a good time. That's if I'm gonna step out of my house, I'm gonna have a good time. My main problem was that I had just done a 12-hour shift, and by the time I got out, there was nowhere to get food really with what the initial plans were. But if what the plans ended up being, once the drinks started like pouring, I definitely should have gotten something to eat, because I was on an empty stomach is another game. But thank you, Martin, for the super chat. Ay. Damn, last year? Wow. Hey, Jill, if you could find that, I mean, that'd be dope to have like a receipt from that long ago. Wow. Yeah, ni modo. Yeah, okay. No, we're here though. We're here. We're here.
But he no longer works on the campaign, and we haven't updated our website because we're in Get Out the Vote. We haven't. I'm dealing with the federal indictment.
Right.
It's been busy, so we actually also put a short statement on our foreign policy page just to let people know that things are going to be updated. And we're actually going to be expanding the policy platform in general.
Mind you, this was like a day before the election. This was a day before the election. She's promising. Oh, man. Why are you defending this obvious bullshit? A day before, look at the description. Mike interviews Kat Abughazaleh, who's running for Illinois' 9th district and has their election tomorrow. Some would say that's a little too late to promise to not be like, not have like a liberal Zionist position as your campaign platform. Wow. Okay. I'm so glad she fucking lost. Again, I wish she would have won. I'm glad when Mamdani wins. I'm glad when AOC wins. I'm glad when they win because it just proves socialist, communist, anarchist correct. That you cannot reform the Democratic Party from within. You're not going to move it to the left. And whatever like movement to the left that we're seeing through populism or whatever, all this bullshit, it's just national socialism. Hassan Piker and I from PA, the Majority Report, the leftist mafia, what they're pushing for is national socialism, bro. That's what they're advocating for. It is terrifying what the alternative is to, fascism. Open, rabid fascism. What is being pushed is national socialism, bro. They always give us two options, right? Very, very different options. Yep.
I think, okay, I'm glad to hear that, but not to, obviously I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask. Obviously the Palestinian-Israeli issue is incredibly complicated and it's very easy for us as a...
Look, I don't glorify our great white savior, but I mean, come on. Is it Israel or what was it called? Here we go.
There's one group that has
a way to do this that Israel still exists and is supported?
So it's not a complex issue.
The great white savior saint himself. It's not a complex issue. It's not, I mean, all these people glorify this. I mean, what did he accomplish? What did he do? He wrote a fucking pamphlet where he went easy on Joe Rogan in hopes of going on the Joe Rogan experience. If that doesn't tell you, like, come on. Mind you, very kind individual. I got to meet him. I got to like grill him a little bit. And he just didn't. He gave me the old, oh, just email me. Fuck out of here, bro. I'm in your face. I'm talking to you. And you're not willing to say whether or not you support the decolonization of Turtle Island. I don't need to email you shit. And so he was so dedicated into dodging that conversation that he checked out early. Man. But even this great white savior saint over here says it's not a complicated issue, and they all love and adore and glorify this man that did nothing of substance.
Not to, obviously I wouldn't be me if I didn't ask. Obviously the Palestinian issue is incredibly complicated, and it's very easy for us as Americans who are privileged and comfortable to kind of pass judgment on the politics of Palestinian resistance. And do you think that Americans should be like involved in selecting the choices of who gets to rule a Palestinian government after this genocide, if God willing ends?
No, but I mean, I think the big thing here is that there need to be elections. Like, this is something that has been criticized about the Hamas government in Gaza. There haven't really been elections in, almost 20 years at this point. And
Again, the narrative here is that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. That is why this is part of her talking point. Her liberal Zionist talking point is that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Look, they don't even have fair, free elections. Right. They're under siege. They're facing a white supremacist, settler colonial project trying to eradicate the Palestinian people, steal land. And these people are advocating for there to be free and fair elections. That somehow Hamas is ruling with an iron fist, that they do not represent the Palestinian people. As if Hamas doesn't work with other Palestinian organizations. They don't work with fucking compradors. They don't work with compradors, cat. You know what would happen if a comprador such as yourself was in Gaza? There's some great fucking videos demonstrating what happens to fucking compradors that I cannot share or show here. But they recognize the real threat of compradors, and they address that accordingly in the most productive manner possible. If you betray your people, there's only one solution for that. Because if you betray your people, fuck, you'll betray anyone and anything. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly, James. They want Gaza to become the West Bank. That's exactly what they're advocating for. They're drooling, foaming at the mouth to get, the Palestinian Authority or another comprador fucking organization like that in charge of Gaza to make the continued colonization of Palestine more efficient and easier to hide. Deto from the Twitch chat says, the day before the day of the election, to go on a niche show with a couple thousand viewers, 99% of whom aren't in the district, seems like a very smart use of time by this candidate. Well, I don't think Kat went on Mike from PA for any true campaign reason. I think she did this to allow Mike to beg for forgiveness from her, Hassan Piker, but also Kat kind of padding her record in case she did lose, so that she can go back to being a streamer or lefty, quote unquote lefty journalist. I think that's why she did this. Yep. Zelensky not having elections doesn't disqualify his rule, but Hamas is invalidated. Exactly. Gio, I don't know if you saw Hot Elixir asking about any recommendation, any orgs in your region, or I guess Chicago at large. I think a bit of a wasted question, Hot Elixir. I would be asking for the best place to find good food, but that's just because I'm a fat ass.
And that self-determination aspect is very important to me. But any solution, which I've said shouldn't be dictated by Americans, but by people that actually live there, also need to include full civil and legal rights for all people, like no apartheid state, which while that's controversial,
Do you consider
as
yourself,
well
not
as
to interrupt,
democracy.
Kat, but do you consider
Yeah.
yourself a one-stater or a two-stater, or up to the individual people that are actually there? Like, what do you
Up to the individual people that are actively there. Like, I'm Palestinian American, but I don't live there. And, whether it is a one secular state with full civil and legal rights for everyone, whether it is two states that are, democratic, once again, I am very pro secular states. That needs to be up to them. I'm not sure geopolitically right now that just popular sentiment of the people that live there, a one state in that image is possible, but also it is not up to Americans to decide, and why we need to recognize.
This is the same fucking bullshit coward response that Ta-Nehisi Coates gave when he was talking to Cash. Is it Cash or Ash? Ash from that British Navarro media. Same coward, squirmy fucking opportunist response. We're Americans. I can't say anything about this. Meanwhile, one Palestinians will vote for me, even though I'm a fucking Commodore. I mean, everything about that is so fucking pathetic. Again, this whole thing of, oh, it needs to be a secular state. Understand, it's easy to be charitable and say, oh, she means like not a Jewish supremacist state, but it's a double speak. Again, painting Hamas as being, because of their original connection to the Muslim Brotherhood, being these fundamentalists. Bro, the vilification doublespeak is so frustrating because they've worked alongside like Christian organizations, with Christian Palestinian organizations. Like, these are not the fanatics that she's trying to paint them to be by doubling down with this whole secular talk. Right? Because the reason why I'm phoning in on this is she's referring to this even if it was a two-state solution, meaning she's talking about both a Zionist state and a Palestinian state living alongside each other, that they both have to be secular. Trying to paint it as if right now they're under some type of like Islamic fundamentalist rule. Again, you got to read between the lines here. This propaganda normalization works. But so not being able to say one Palestinian state is atrocious. Why? Oh, because I'm American, I can't say that. What the fuck? You can't say you support decolonization? Wow. And of course, the civil rights aspect of it all is the glorification of liberal Zionism. Man.
Palestinian statehood, so that way you are negotiating on equal footing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is incredibly difficult now because, the elephant in the room is that Israeli politics has gone very far right.
Yeah.
And
the Toa in the Twitch chat says her platform said right to return / or money, i.e. no right of return. It's all double speak. Oh, it gets worse. Because remember, we can't trust her platform. So we have to go based on what she says on random streams. Right? Because she's illiterate, or because she's a 26-year-old trapped in she's a 5-year-old trapped in a 26-year-old's body. So we can't trust her platform. We have to trust what she says on whatever was the last stream she was on. Right? So it gets worse. Don't worry.
And so when you're talking about a one-state solution, it almost seems non-viable because of the nature of Israeli politics. So doesn't that mean that our support for Israel needs to be cut off faster and more, more expeditiously because they're so out of line with our values?
I mean, it wouldn't matter if it's Israel or Mexico. We need to be following our own laws. That's why we can't just be, having an arms embargo for just specific types of military aid. It needs to be a full stop until our laws are followed. And that includes not having segregation codified in your law. Like this isn't, some people want to make this really complicated. I remember I was at a candidate forum where there are, 16 candidates in my race, and I was the last one for this question. And every single person was like, this is really complicated. I can't get into the thousands of year history here. And I'm like, it really isn't that complicated.
Right.
Civilians deserve safety. Children shouldn't go to bed hungry. War criminals need to be held accountable. And we need to recognize Palestinian statehood while also not dictating the lives of people that actually live there. I also don't believe in doing a second Nakba. Like if someone said we need right of return, there are lots of forms that takes. But if someone said you can have your great grandfather's hotel, but you displace 300 people, trauma begets trauma, I would say no.
She's calling decolonization of Palestine a second Nakba. Understand the level of comprador that you have to be to say the right of return and the full decolonization of Palestine from Zionist colonization would be a second Nakba. This is a disgusting individuals in proportions that I can't even articulate. This individual is fucking dangerous. And the fact that Mike from PA can sit there and be like, lets you know everything you need to know about these people's positions about decolonization. There's a reason why they focus on civil rights and ending the apartheid state, and they don't talk about decolonization. From Mike from PA to Hassan Piker, who talks about emancipation all the time, to Sam Cedar, who doesn't think the Zionist entity should disappear. The level of disrespect to your own people to say that them reclaiming their land and taking it back from the colonizers that removed them at gunpoint with the threat of extermination would be a second Nakba. It is, man, I'm struggling to remain within TOS of describing how despicable cat Abughazaleh truly fucking is. And it's, it's unfortunate that she lost, because now these fucking rat libs that claim to be leftists and socialists and communists, depending on the day of the week, they won't be forced to defend the atrocious compromises that she was going to carry out. Now they could glorify her as a political revolutionary because she lost. And of course, smear someone to her left, stigmatize someone to her left. It is, in Bushra, it's absolutely fucking disgusting.
Held accountable, and we need to recognize Palestinian statehood while also not dictating the lives of people that actually live there. I also don't believe in doing a second Nakba. Like if someone said we need right of return, there are lots of forms that takes. But if someone said you can have your great grandfather's hotel, but you displace 300 people, trauma begets trauma, I would say no. But there are many different forms that
trauma begets trauma. You don't want to traumatize colonizers. Yeah, we fucking do. Yes, hopefully they remember shit and they teach their fucking children and not to steal land, not to ethnically cleanse people, not to carry out a genocide. May they wake up in cold fucking sweat every single night. May they not know peace. And notice how she says your great grandfathers, as if displacement isn't currently happening. As if people are alive that still have keys to their homes, not their great grandfathers, their homes, their parents. But again, it's this attempt to use the subliminal language to try and make it seem like such a distant thing. Displacement is happening today. Today.
There are lots of forms that takes. But if someone said you can have your great grandfather's hotel, but you displace 300 people, trauma begets trauma, I would say no. But there are many different forms that takes, and there need to be reparations.
I hear you. But you would say that you support a right of return.
Yeah, it's
okay, of Palestinian refugees.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, cool. The right of return. Okay, cool. You just can't have the land that was stolen from you back, but you can return. We're just going to prioritize the colonizers. It's very reminiscent of Jeff Halper, who wrote Decolonizing Israel, Liberating Palestine, a book that if you actually read, you realize he has the same position. Oh yeah, right of return, but you know, we kind of bulldozed and destroyed your towns and communities, but there's plenty of ample land that you could go that isn't being used. So again, prioritizing the colonizer. And this is a book that Matt Leck, the producer of the Majority Report and one of the hosts for Left Reckoning, pushes and advertises and encourages people to use and embrace, because colonizers love colonizers.
You would say that you support a right of return.
Yeah, it's
okay, of Palestinian refugees.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for informing us about that. The other issue that I want to quickly go over is just kind of your general attitude towards China. You know,
I think there's one where she literally mentions Hamas by name. And then we'll start wrapping up. Okay, we did go over this, right?
and that's a big concern for me, because I see obviously China is a rising power, and they've been incredibly successful in development compared to almost any other country in the world. We are very intimately intertwined with them economically. So what do you think our attitude toward China be? Should it be adversary? Should it be cooperation, looking for more cooperation and
Absolutely. Look, I think
really cool. Good.
I said on MSNBC that Kristi Noem should be tried at The Hague.
Yeah.
I absolutely mean.
And same thing with Netanyahu, Ben Gvir.
Absolutely. Look, I think every war criminal should be held accountable, and it doesn't matter what flag they're under, whether it's ours, whether it's Israel's, and frankly, whether it's Hamas's. Like, if you commit a war crime, that is bad. But
we seen Emma Vigeland do this last week. What war crimes has Hamas committed? Please name them. You're talking about Kristi Noem. You're talking about Benjamin Netanyahu. And you feel the fucking need to mention Hamas? What does that tell you? Unprompted. Associating an indigenous resistance force with committing human rights violations, with committing war crimes. Again, smearing Hamas at every opportunity. And really what you're doing is you're smearing armed resistance against settler colonial occupation. What need is there to bring Hamas in this other than to signal to Zionists, hey, don't worry. Don't worry. I'll normalize liberal Zionism. Again, what need was there for this? Well, look at the original question and tell me.
this morning, and so you would, in your mind, George Bush or Donald Trump being prosecuted at The Hague is a outcome that you would support. Is that something that you would? Okay, really cool, good.
I said on MSNBC that Kristi Noem should be tried at The Hague. Like I absolutely mean.
And same thing with Netanyahu, Ben Gvir.
Absolutely. Look, I think every war criminal should be held accountable, and it doesn't matter what flag they're under, whether it's ours, whether it's Israel's, and frankly, whether it's Hamas's. Like if you commit a war crime, that is bad. But this is why.
This just reminded me of when I think it was the day after October 7th, Operation Alaska Flood, glorious day. Sam Cedar, who was at the Tort conference at the time, was wishing and hoping that the entire Hamas leadership would be burning in hell alongside Zionists like Benjamin Netanyahu and I believe Ben Gvir. Fucking disgusting, man. To equate the colonizer with the colonized. Absolutely disgusting. What more evidence do you need that this is a comprador? Please let me know. The chat and the comments, let me know what more evidence you need to know that this is a fucking comprador. That if you sell out your own people, you'll sell out anything and anyone. If you sell out your own people going out through a genocide, do you think that she's gonna like stand firm with the working class? Like, grow the fuck up, man. We got 48 likes. Let's go ahead and hit the like button, y'all. Even it out. Appreciate like 80 of y'all being here, which is kind of funny because that's, you know, honestly, 80 to like 112 is like fairly consistent for the live streams. For about the same number to be out here so late is kind of funny to me, and much appreciated. All right. We're done with that. We're done with this. We're done with this comprador. So, but actually there is one. Hold on. There's one. It's not this one.
This is why we're.
Mike says something along the lines of, does he say advocate? Or he says a word like that, like, I want to serve for you, or like advocate for you. It's not advocate. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not supporter. Shoot, man. It is maybe towards the end of the conversation though. So let's see if that comes up. Let's see. Is it? Damn, he says something like, I want to serve for you, or I want to advocate for you. I want to. Dude, what was the word, y'all? It's so fucking sad.
Oh, this is probably one of the most important elections in the history of this country. I'm putting a lot of pressure on you now.
The history of the country. God damn.
I agree. I know. Unironically, I agree with that now. I've been thinking a lot about your race because you're not just running against AIPAC. You're running against sort of like the professional progressive class of DC. So if you're able to win a 100% grassroots left-wing campaign as a 26-year-old woman, Palestinian, that will rank up there with like very few other campaigns in the history of this country. And I mean that completely. I've thought a lot about you over the last weekend and this race because I wanted to make sure that I don't like when I make mistakes and I don't like when I treat people unfairly. And I definitely did that to you. And you've only rewarded my newfound faith in you by making the correct moves. I just want to say that in my opinion.
Thanks. And to be clear, like, I think accountability is important, and I'm always down to like talk about different views. And absolute, like, the thing is I'm like, I always mention, I used to be a union rep, and I'm like, I'm compromising negotiation and admitting when I'm wrong, or if I've changed position, if there's new news, I'm always happy to do that as long as we're not compromising basic human rights. And so like, I just
come that you would support.
Yes.
That's something that you would. Okay, really cool. Good.
I said on MSNBC that Kristi Noem should.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. I do have some timestamps I forgot to look at, so maybe it's here. But it was so pathetic. Can't remember what the word was, but it was so groveling.
like, I was a liberal progressive, and then I got contact with the Democratic Party, and that's why I became radicalized. The Democratic Party is what radicalized me. And I feel like some of the same thing is happening to you a little bit, because maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sorry. But I just feel that kind of like energy from you, and I want to be an asset for you now that
I want to be an asset for you. I want to be an asset for you. I think this motherfucker thought that she was actually going to win. He already got scolded. He already got shocked. Hassan put the collar on him and shocked him to get to the proper place. And he's like, shit, I gotta kiss ass to her. I want to be an asset to you. And look at her face. Her face is kind of like fucking pathetic. She's like, you're fucking pathetic, bro.
well, no. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's so sick.
Yeah, no, that is very sick, and that's why I say I really admire your campaign, and I've been humbled because, you know, listen, whenever I criticize.
I really admire your campaign. Bro, the day before the election, she's talking about, oh, my platform doesn't reflect my positions. She had a Zionist in her campaign lie about her positions. How can you really admire it? Because they're trying to address last minute people actually reading her positions? What the fuck are you admiring? She's demonstrating that she's willing, with enough pressure, to change her positions. Guess who's going to apply more pressure she would have won? Fucking political commentators or the Democratic Party or lobbyists? I wonder who. God damn, I want to be an asset. An asset, bro. You're definitely a fucking ass. We know that much.
Criticized you. I want you to know I was just trying to give you what I thought would help you, you know, because I've been in your shoes where it's like I was a liberal progressive, and then I got contact with the Democratic Party, and that's why I became radicalized. The Democratic Party is what radicalized me, and I feel
I used to be a liberal progressive, and now I'm a rat lib.
like some of the same thing is happening to you a little bit, because maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I'm sorry, but I just feel that kind of like energy from you, and I want to be an asset for you now that you have completely shown me that I was wrong about you, and I appreciate the way you've clarified me, because it's really important.
I do want nuclear war everywhere, though, and I can't wait for that to be in APAC.
Listen, and I don't want you to think I support China invading Taiwan. I think that would be a catastrophic mistake for them, and I'm not saying
China invading itself would be catastrophic for them. You see how these people are just fucking full of shit and consistent? Listen. Okay, bro. All right. These people are frauds, unprincipled through and through, opportunists.
saying that I want that. Now, you know, Possadism is growing, which is the idea that to defeat capitalism, we need a nuclear war. But we're not Possadists.
Solar punk, read Becky Chambers.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I want to talk about the things that we agree on for real quick, which is what is your vision for America? And then once I hear that, how can we help?
I mean, the main thing is I hate the idea that.
Yeah, we're not listening to that. We're not listening to that, chat. I want to be an asset to. Imagine telling a politician that. I want to be an asset to you. Wow. How fucking pathetic. Talking about pathetic. We told y'all. We've been saying it. We know this here. JVP should not have been trusted and glorified. Norm Finkelstein cannot get their name. Hold on. Norm Finkelstein cannot stop glorifying JVP. JVP picks a side and it's a Democratic Party. You gotta love it. You gotta fucking love it. Let me see here. Can you see all of this? You can't. Why is that? Why are you giving me a hard time here? I mean, that kind of helps, I guess. Yeah, that helps a lot, actually. All right, cool. The nonprofit restructuring resource laundering and liberal politics behind the rebrand. This is from March 2nd. So just a couple, about what was that, 2 weeks ago? This is by Cody O'Rourke and Laura Kilani. On February 18th, 2026, Jewish Voice for Peace, JVP, announced that from this point on, the moniker JVP will be used to describe a 401c4 formerly identified as JVP Action. JVP has become one of the most prominent and well-resourced Palestinian solidarity organization in the United States, tripling y'all its revenue to $1 million during the genocide. Now, I don't know the individuals that wrote this, but I truly appreciate the language that they're using by saying during the genocide. This is my same criticism of Abughazaleh, Matt Lieb, his show with Daniel Mattei, the son of Gabor Mattei, who's a Zionist and supports the Nakba, right? Liberal Zionist at that. Abughazaleh, Matt Lieb's and Daniel Mattei's podcast gained notoriety, gained support, and financial success during the genocide of Palestinians. Two liberal Zionist Jewish men cashing in on the genocide of Palestinians just like JVP. As Israel's genocide in Gaza continues through its third year, the decision to redirect the weight of that brand and the grassroots credibility built over 3 decades of organizing towards a lobbying operation is not a minor administrative change. It is a political declaration. In order to understand what JVP is committing to with this shift, one has to look at the actual record of the candidate it has endorsed, their votes, their reversals, their silences, and ask whether that record represents a genuine challenge to U.S. support of Zionist settler colonialism. Of Zionist settler colonialism, not of an apartheid state, not talking about civil rights, talking about the primary contradiction. Zionist settler colonialism. What we found is that the politicians with which JVP action has championed have, with few exceptions, operated within a paradigm that undermines rather than advances Palestinian liberation. Voting to affirm Zionism's right to exist, funding Israeli arms, opposing BDS, and walking back anti-Zionist statements under party pressure. As JVP bets its future on this electoral infrastructure, the question is not whether these candidates are better than their Republican counterparts, but whether calling this work anti-Zionist is honest, and what it costs the broader movement when it isn't. This piece examines what that restructuring actually means and why it matters. Man, I already love this. I already love this. Calling out the bullshit. Calling out the fucking fugazi, right? Fugazi. Man. So my question is, with this restructuring, are they using all that money that they gained claiming to support Palestinians to support these liberal Zionist politicians, right? I mean, that's the implication. Wow. Yeah, the link isn't going to work there. Let me check the Discord real quick. Again, y'all, you can gain access to Discord and all the receipts that we have from these opportunists by joining the Patreon. $2 gets you into the door. Gio, did you post it in the general or did you DM me? Or what channel did you oh, I'm seeing it right now, my bad. I don't know why I was looking for your same profile pic. my bad. Oh, wow. And it's Zionism Observer too, so it's not even like you claim it's a niche. So I think you mentioned that it was a no, I prefer it being in the general, that way everyone can have access to it. 2025, yeah, June 22nd, 2025. Kat Abughazaleh never addressed her campaign manager going on a rant against Palestine solidarity community and accusing anti-Zionists of being secret anti-Semites. Instead of addressing her campaign manager going on a Zionist rant, lying about people and accusing them of anti-Semitism, Kat Abughazaleh changed the subject and just swept her campaign manager being a Zionist under the rug and still defending him to this fucking day is wild. And of course, Mike from PA isn't going to know this or even care about it to bring it up. Her campaign manager is still run by Sam J. Wimberg. I'm assuming the J is for J Street. He is a Zionist and a liar. The Cat Abughazaleh campaign is run by a Zionist who lies about anti-Semitism to smear critics of Israel. It's a problem. Wow. I guess he's saying here, truth is often in the eye of the beholder. You can't invalidate people's genuine fears and feelings just because you don't feel the same way. The Intifadas were a series of violent acts against Jews. It's not hard to see why globalizing that would scare people. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? This is who Hassan Piker was advocating for. This is who Mike from PA was literally saying he wants to be an asset for. So it wasn't just the fucking platform. Wow, these fucking people are disgusting and insidious. Gio, thank you for this insight. Y'all need to, join the Discord if you can, y'all, because we got some bad people there that keep receipts. This is, man, I'm so happy for this community. Thank you so much for all the work y'all do. Thank you for educating me. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for holding the line, man. God damn, this shit makes you feel insane. This stuff makes you feel insane because it's like, how can individuals who are making, in the case of Mike from PA, tens of thousands of dollars, the case of Hassan Piker, millions of dollars, and this is their job, this is their role, to be educated and keep tabs on this, either being willfully ignorant or choosing to sweep this under the rug. Wow. Wow. He deleted the tweets that say this post is unavailable. When people brought this monster to her attention, Kat Abughazaleh implied people were lying about her deleting tweets about Gaza, then ignored her campaign manager smearing the Palestinian solidarity movement. Did a mosquito fucking bite me on my knee? What the dude? Yeah, it did. Hold on. God damn it. What the fuck? This year we really haven't been getting those tiny mosquitoes, or at least I haven't seen a lot of them. I've been seeing a lot of the big ones. They made a comeback, which is always easier to deal with. But holy fucking shit. Y'all know I hate mosquitoes. I'll be right back. Hold on. My bad, chat. My bad. I had to go like put on like this pomada that really helps bring down the irritation. And I put on some like mosquito repellent. Oh man. Oh, Tequila TV. First time I see this stream still up while I start my work shift. Oh, did you do graveyard, homie? Damn. First the stream and now mosquito. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, the nighttime streams got too much heat. Thank you for that. So fire. It's good. It's good. I'm getting hungry again though, and it's pretty late to eat, so I'm gonna have to have like some cereal with granola or something like that. I like it. I just still have to be considerate, and not get too loud because of my neighbors. But I'm a night owl. That's my big problem. I love staying up late. I know there's different theories about why that is. The latest one that I heard is that if you have ADHD, like you're able to finally relax at night because there's like less stimulants or less interactions with people or whatnot. I don't know about that, but I do enjoy just being. Dude, I love staying up late, sleeping in, staying up late. Perfect. Gio says that's why I think it's so funny about the whole primary. They try to frame Biz as the big Zionist without calling him one. Oh, excuse me. Yep. Meanwhile, Abughazaleh's campaign manager seems to agree with Bliss. Yeah. I mean, I think she was just controlled opposition, basically. Like, if she won, Zionist still won. And if she lost, the Zionist still won. Oh, okay. Tequila says, okay. 6 a.m.? Wow. You don't have to, I mean, if you want to share, please, but where the fuck is it 6 a.m. right now? That's interesting. Well, I appreciate you. Hey, international audience. That's what's up. Okay, let's finish this thread here. Okay. She doesn't address it at all, and she insults people, don't know how to research what? It implies they're lying about her and there is some conspiracy, but she never addresses her campaign manager being a Zionist. So this is what they're quote tweeting here. I see some people ask why I deleted all of my posts about Gaza. I don't know if Twitter's search function is broken. Oh yeah, she's being passive aggressive. Condescending, I guess. Or if people have lost all research skills, but the whole situation is let's find out, very confusing. And then provides a video of her timeline. At the very least, Sam J. Wimberg needs to publicly apologize to the people he smeared as anti-Semites and clarify he doesn't speak for her campaign. She should honestly fire the Zionists. Instead, she lashed out. People don't trust Democrats. This is why. I don't like highlighting issues within the Palestinian solidarity community. That isn't what this account is about. We focus on Zionists only. And Sam J. Wimberg is a scumbag Zionist bigot. Kat Abughazaleh needs to fix this before people assume she is as well. This is so gracious. This is absurdly gracious. And look, all credit to Zionism Observer for prioritizing their mission of combating Zionism and giving grace to Kat, who is Palestinian American. And I understand that optically, hey, give her a chance to denounce this guy and get rid of him. But man, I would not be so gracious. I'm not. She's a fucking comprador. There is a reason so much of the left refuse to touch U.S. electoral politics. If Kat Abughazaleh wants to bring us to the Democratic Party, so that is her objective, she needs to start by firing or at the very least condemning her campaign manager. The days of false anti-Semitism accusations are over. Wow. I mean, hey, as somebody who was accused of being anti-Semitic by a liberal Zionist and Emma Vigeland, this is their go-to. Whether a rabid Zionist or not, this is their go-to. Again, shout out to Gio. The receipts in the Discord are no joke. Geo, Ace, David. I don't want to leave anybody out. My apologies, but the consistent petty. We're all in the school of Dr. Drab, petty academics, trying to get our doctorates there. But I truly, truly appreciate the receipts. Man, how do I not make an edited video on Cat at this point? But first things first, Cesar Chavez, that's what I'll work on. And then we got a lineup, and I'm not even concerned about like being timely in terms of like whether or not this will be relevant or talking about Cat will be relevant, because it's not about Cat. It's about compradors and liberal Zionist normalization, right? It's about more than these individuals. Yeah, David's on another level for sure. It's not a competition. Everybody gets participation trophies over here because everything's appreciated, truly and honestly. All the receipts are appreciated because this is how these liberals get away with so much, is just people forgetting. We don't forget over here. We don't forget and we don't forgive. All right. Yeah, you're not wrong, Gio. Gio says it was a nothing election until streamers thought they could make money on it. Yep. Now, please go ahead and join the Patreon, and super chats and super stickers are turned on. Look, I gotta be honest too. You call me a sellout if you want. You know what I mean? But again, Gio, thank you so much. Let's quote retrieve this. Gio, I don't know if I have you on Twitter, but know that you're credit going to you here. And Hassan, let's do Mike from PA. We're gonna dox him. Oh, is it like underscore or something like that? Is it just like Mike underscore from PA or something? Yeah. Jordy FM. To act like did I misspell her name? Abughazaleh. Yes, there's another E. Oh, A. Yeah. Wasn't I guess Zionist Commodore would be good. Yeah, that's smart, Geo. It's one of the worst fucking websites. But yeah, let's get through this article because Geo's pettiness distracted us. No, it is much appreciated. All right, where are we at? Yes, I think we made it down here. Yeah, it's 11:40. Yeah, I know. And like I said, I got to be up early for the DMV. Man, that's so annoying. Let's go here. State-sanctioned structures of solidarity. Fundamentally, to any consideration of this new arrangement is the distinction between the two legal categories, a 401c3 and a 401c4. The original JVP is a 401c3, meaning it is a federally recognized public charity which is eligible to receive tax deduction donations. Charities must be founded and operated according to purposes which exempt them from taxes. Generally, this means work that serves public interest and benefits communities, including vulnerable people and animals. Importantly, charities are also limited to the extent to which their work can be political. Legislatively, lobbying efforts, for example, cannot make up a substantial part of their work. Registered 401c4s, on the other hand, are, sorry, I think I got bit again, bro. God damn it. I'm gonna cry. Yeah. All right, let's start back. Let's start all over. Sorry. Registered 401c4s, on the other hand, are social welfare organizations and can engage in unlimited lobbying in service of these efforts. While there are still some limits to the extent of their political and campaigning activities, 401c4s are generally much freer to participate in political advocacy efforts that influence policy, including issuing campaign endorsements. Donations to 401c4s are not tax deductible. So let's consult the records. We've already written an immediate response following the release of JVP's statement about restructuring here. The critique boils down to one main point. This shift is an effort to move JVP's primary work into the realm of electoralism in support of the Democratic Party, literally the party that started and carried out the genocide following Operation Alaska Flood. And we're essentially promising to continue it in the Harris regime. Turning more than 30 years of grassroots organizing into support for institutions animating the very genocide JVP purports to oppose. This decision is not about how to best support the liberation of Palestine or Palestinians. Immediately, we received one recurring rebuttal. Well, I'd rather support the politicians who will prevent a genocide from happening than to have to support genocide survivors. Wow. That is despicable. Support Palestinians who will prevent a genocide from happening while they're proactively carrying out one and defending one and promising to continue it? That is deranged. We think most people would agree with this common sense approach. We too would rather see genocide be prevented altogether. However, this assertion assumes one thing that deserves re-examination: that the candidates supported or endorsed by JVP action have historically acted in service of Palestinians and against Zionist violence. We can easily test this assumption by looking at the actual applied positions of the candidates JVP action endorsed in 2024. When we do, the pattern comes into focus that the organizations itself seems not to notice and certainly doesn't name. On every issue where liberal democratic politics and anti-colonial frameworks sharply diverge, such as condemning indigenous resistance, funding the military infrastructure that facilitates the annihilation of Palestinians, backing BDS, even choosing between one and two state solutions, these candidates land almost without exception on the Democratic Party side of the line. What this produces is not anti-Zionism in any meaningful sense, a term with which JVP self-identifies and places besides the moniker JVP as a matter of practice. Rather, it is a liberal mode of Zionism dressed in the language of solidarity, one that actively undermines the resistance to colonialism which it claims to support. And there it is. And there it is. This is what I'm saying. This has been the objective and goal of these liberal Zionist organizations: to rename, to rebrand what anti-Zionism truly is. To make it anti-apartheid. Go back to the fucking early days of this channel. In those streams, I am warning about this. Not because I have some fucking intellect and insight and I have the fucking secret knowledge. No. Because they run the same fucking play every single time. When it comes to settler colonialism, liberals always run this fucking play in order to maintain and sustain a settler colonial project. And this is what Sam Cedar has been essentially doing on the Majority Report. This is what Hassan Piker has been doing by normalizing liberal Zionists like Sam Cedar and Bernie Sanders. Man. All right, we should wrap up. Oh, this is quite a bit. You know what? I really like this. And it's late, y'all. Damn, this is a great fucking article though. Man, I can't. It's late. It's 11:47, y'all. I do have to be up early tomorrow to hit the DMV and hopefully get back here before it starts getting hot, and do an actual timely stream. I didn't go train today because my body was just fucking destroyed. Oh shit, where are we? Where did I leave good old John Trudell? I don't know where I left the book. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so I need to tap out. Y'all. Just because I actually do need to get my sleep in order. Man, this piece is fucking awesome. Let me drop it in the chat though. Man, this is a gold mine here. I'm definitely gonna include this. I'm gonna work on a video about Zionism as well. I know I don't really like to say like what I'm gonna be working on because it kind of it's not false promises. They're gonna happen. It's just the streaming is too much fun. But yes, this the great Yahweh. Yes. You're right. And there's a beast in the land. That's right. Let's get to it. Remember what Glenn Ford said: organize with eyes wide open. John Trudell, the beast. In a wisp of smoke down on the corner, there was this cat named Fortunately talking at me from voices in his head, yelling about what storytellers said. You got to be careful here, child. There's a beast in the promised land. There's madness you don't understand. The beast is crazed and running wild. Little boy, man, little girl, woman, no big deal. Nothing personal. Your mind's another meal. Savoring the rush of you like heady wine. Feeding is what the beast is meant to do. Stranger are those walls built to hide. Stranger to look and learn not to see. He's in the mask you put on your face. Thoughts, his favorite breeding place. In the race to midnight, it's after 11. The nature of the beast is all he knows. Behind doors of hell are gates of heaven. Doors are open, but the gates are closed. Ya estuvo. Fuck Cesar Chavez.